I think we're going live, but that's why I always want a spider plant for a winky.
You've always said that, though.
Yeah. Are we live? I think we're live.
Hello.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think this is us.
Just us.
Yeah, just us. Anyway, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Borodar, I guess we should say. Borodar.
Is that Klingon?
It's Welsh.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, so it's our St. David's Day drink along, featuring a couple of Welsh breweries. We're treating this one basically a bit like a live podcast because why not, I guess.
Why not, indeed.
If people want to get involved in the comments, always nice to hear from you. Big Ev's in the room, which means that we're audible somewhere. So it's audible indeed. Let's go with that. All sound okay in there, Big Ev? Sebastian, hello.
Evening, Sebastian.
James Nicol, hey man, how's it going? Good. It sounds like we're rolling.
It's time to get the entrees out.
Yes. So we are currently drinking a bit of a pre-drink along beer, which
It's a bit of an old classic, let's be honest. So we've got a invoice us for the microphone, which is a core DIPA, which is their IPA. There's a reason for this, which we'll go into shortly. But yeah, I've got a fridge full of Day. I don't think you've got a fridge full of Day.
Yeah. And our cameraman Stu, he definitely had a fridge full of Day. He took plenty of goodies back, didn't he?
Took the piss.
Yeah, he emptied them out. So just to give people, obviously we'll let people file in and whatnot. But just to give you all a kind of steer on what we've got planned.
Oh, Sebastian Seabass.
Seabass.
Bit disappointed to realise that's not your real name. So
I was really hoping it was Seabass.
I just thought you had some very cruel parents.
New age cruel parents. So yeah, we've got our little kick-off now, which we're just going to wait for people to file into the room or not. 20 past 1, we'll go for our first beer from our first Welsh brewery, one of two Welsh breweries.
I mean, we'll get into that. So yeah, we'll talk a bit more about Welsh breweries because I think our knowledge of them is limited, maybe to 2 or 3. I mean, in terms of modern craft beer, there's a lot of trad breweries. There's a handful of trad breweries I can name, but yeah, it'd be good to get opinions on anyone who knows anything about the Welsh brewing scene.
I think the core thing to probably get to the point of is: does Wales exist? Is it real? I mean, I'm sure there's all manner of conspiracy theories that we could actually explore.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's actually seen it.
I mean,
that I know of, anyway.
I've been to a place that claims to be Wales, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is Wales. But yeah.
So Big Ev's drinking a 2 Flints. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Good brewery.
June as well, which is quite topical because June,
the film,
the sequel. I want to call it June 2. I'm sure it's got a national name. It's now ousted The Shawshank Redemption from the top of IMDb's best film ever list. I mean, it hasn't even come out yet.
Well, that doesn't make any sense,
no.
Does it? No. That's ridiculous.
Is IMDb a load of bullshit?
Yeah. I mean, does anyone pay attention more to the IMDb ratings or to the Rotten Tomatoes thing? I know probably where I kind of sit more. I think Rotten Tomatoes is usually a bit more of a steer.
I've never used them to rate any films. I mean, because I only watch Marvel films, as we established the other day, because I'm such a cultural hooligan.
Heretic.
Yeah.
Seabass is drinking Tropical Winter from Polly's. So there we go.
We have a Welsh beer in the house. Yeah, we haven't started ours yet, Seabass. I went to Wrexham. I still don't believe Wales exists. Yeah, I mean,
sounds about right, Matt.
Yeah, Wrexham is. It's like the Arctic wall. The flat earthers say is stopping you from going over the edge. You know, it's that wall. So Wrexham's probably that for Wales.
Yeah. Even then, isn't Wrexham England? Although we don't really want to claim it.
Well, it wouldn't be in Wales because that doesn't exist, right?
No, we wouldn't want to claim Wrexham. But yeah, so That's good though. I mean, Polly's solid brewery, so we'll be hitting the Polly's beer. So we'll be dippering at 8:45.
Yeah, so we've got a Polly's birthday beer.
Apparently, this is an absolute monster of a beer as well.
Yeah, I've had it, and I can't remember it because I think I had it quite late in a session. But it's a track collab, and that's always going to tickle my tits quite nicely because I love track as a brewery. I'm going to say they're my favourite brewery in the UK at the moment.
You love track, and I love track as well, but not as much as you.
But you love Verdant.
Yeah, track is what Verdant is to me.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my mom's just subscribed to me.
To you?
Yeah. Hi. Well, not to me, to the channel.
Oh, God.
Hi, Mom. I'm assuming she's on it. Why has it taken a fucking 2 years?
Hi, it's your mother.
800. Oh, there she is.
Oh, God, Mom's on.
Hello. Why is it taking you 2 years and 800 and you're the 811th sub?
Fair play, Lindsay. I don't think my mom could even begin to fathom how to subscribe and join a YouTube live chat. So
yeah, I mean, I'm just being entitled and going, why the fuck did it take this long? Beer 3 at 9:15. We're going to go for our first non-Welsh brewery, if you don't count Cloudwater.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So Cloudwater, we've got a couple. I didn't realise I had a fridge full of Cloudwater, which is a bit worrying. I'm just buying things ad hoc now and just storing like a hamster. But yeah, we've got a couple of the Cloudwater birthday beers. So we've got the IPA and the DIPA for their 9th birthday. Oh, that's not right. It's not their 9th birthday.
I think it is, isn't it?
Is it? The only 9? That doesn't feel right. But possibly.
The can somewhere, we'll find out.
It's whatever their birthday was this month.
Yeah.
Oh, last month. It's March now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were talking. Yeah.
So this is the beginning of February. So yeah, we'll have one of them depending on how we feel.
And then our wrap up is kind of going to be around 9:45.
And we'll bring out something big, dark, and
heavy. Something big, dark, and nice. Yeah. And then the plan is to finish at 10, unless we end up having a lock in and going over last time. Yeah. We'll kind of see and play that by ear.
Yep. And we tend to have a few more people join throughout the course of this. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So. No more comments in that. Tracker amazing, absolutely. So just from us, I suppose the only real thing to talk about is the fact that we went to Daya on Friday and we got some amazing stuff.
Yeah, so we did one of our corporate brewery shoots.
Corporate brewery shoots.
Not that there's a corporate brewery, but it's our kind of package we do for breweries. So yeah, they got the bells and whistles, didn't they? So
it was great.
Yeah, we took an extra cameraman with us, Stu, who's a genius and comes fully loaded all the
bells and whistles,
all the top end spec. So yeah, he's a moving production studio. He's great. And yeah, we spoke to who did we speak to? We spoke to Gareth,
who's the head brewer. Employee number 1 or 2, if you include Theo.
First official Daya employee, and then we spoke to Nikki, who's the head of marketing, who is lovely, and then we got royally smashed with Nikki after the shoot had finished.
Yeah, I don't think she was planning on hanging around that long. She had to get the train back to Bristol.
Yeah, I think she might have missed it.
And there we were. I think we spent a lot of the time talking about how unhealthy we were and how we were trying to get healthy and run more. That was
while drinking.
Yeah, that's how you know that you've got drunk. But yeah. Hopscene, is that Rob from Hopscene? Evening.
Evening.
And Seabass. Did anyone have the Polly's Quip from last year? Yes, because I think they released that around the same week as the putty thing, didn't they?
We definitely had it. Did we have it together?
Hop Vault did it on the same day as putty first pour day, and I remember that was like that
was a big weekend.
It was. I think there was only like 9 kegs of it, wasn't the Seabass? There was like 9 kegs of the Quipper that went out to just 9 different bottle shops, and our local
was in cans though, right? Yeah, it was. It was in cans.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was. I'm
going to hand it over to Seabass, who will be our adjudicator.
Yeah, it was a can. Yeah, I thought so. I had it in a can. I can't remember if I liked it or despised it with a passion. I want to say the latter.
I think it was all right. I didn't have a can. I just did the keg version.
Yeah, I think a can was a bit much, and I shared it with my wife. Anna.
Has anyone jumped on the speaking of just wrapping up the putty loose ends from the last live stream? Has anyone jumped on the triple version of it? I couldn't get a can in the end. I told Hop Vault to save me one via social media, and they didn't look at the message, and then they were like, "Sorry, mate, didn't see the message. They're all gone." And I was like,
Tom at the Hop Vault,
cheers.
I hope he doesn't watch his back, but Tom at the Hop Vault told me he's had a few requests from people to save a can, and he said no.
Oh,
because he only had 12 cans.
I would like to have thought I was an exception to that rule.
Nope, you're just a consumer.
Damn. Well,
I have to say, I feel a bit guilty about this after my DIPA slagging off over the years. I actually bought a can.
You did?
I went in. There was only a few left. I picked one up. 13 quid. Ooh, what a mug! I just hated myself for that.
I mean, it's kind of where I expected it to be now in the grand scheme of things.
We'll probably have it next weekend. We got a weekend in, so we'll give it a go. But
it feels to me like that. It feels to me like the tipper actually has done better in terms of hype sales than the DIPA did. But then I think that could be because of the amount that they've brewed and controlled, and maybe breweries haven't bought as much in of it. Bottle shops haven't bought as much in.
Doesn't seem to be as much out there. The hype was, well, as far as I could see, was pretty low for it this year. Anyway,
so Seabass said
44, so 11 quid a can from their website.
So, so James Nicol,
actually not too bad.
£44 for 4 from the web shop. G'day, short and stout. Did you join us last time and you caught us at the tail end and you were in Australia? I believe that was there was definitely someone that popped up. My mother says only as expensive as a good bottle of wine at 13 quid. To be fair, that's a good point. But you do get about 250 ml less
exactly
than you would in a bottle of wine. So there is that.
I'd rather spend 13 quid on a good bottle of wine than 13 quid on a can of DIPA.
And he says it's from a Planet bit of TV thing.
I'll be honest with you, I prefer wine. I'm a big wine drinker.
It's all coming out tonight. We've not even started.
If I had to choose between beer and wine for the rest of my life, I think I'd really struggle to say it's definitely one or the other. Definitely.
I'll be expecting your resignation notice on Monday, please, Paul.
I think it brings a fresh perspective.
Yeah. No, that's fine. It's fine to have that inclusive view there. I like to,
inclusivity.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Speaking about buying expensive beer, there's a reason for this, but I've been buying quite a lot of American beer recently from a certain website, and if people don't know what it is, then I'm happy to tell you, but I'll keep it quiet if people don't want me to talk about it because
why wouldn't they?
Because it sells out like.
Okay.
And I'm sure people who are on that website, they want more people to jump in. But yeah, vote on it if you want to say the name.
Well, my parents are already all over that now because they had the Mortalis box from Bruiser and they've discovered that they love smoothie sours.
Okay, well, that makes me feel physically sick, so shame on you. Because that's the worst thing I've ever heard. But I've been buying lots of American beer through this website for various reasons. One, just to probably expand my horizons a little bit, because I am a little bit pompous when it comes to American hoppy beers, because I always find them painfully sweet. But that's me. And I know I've got a real aversion to sweet beers, so I'm trying to get over that and try a lot more. And I've been told there's a couple of amazing breweries I should be trying.
Matt is a man after your own heart there. Always find tippers too sweet. Give me a nice pint of bitter any day.
We can be very good friends, Matt. But I am trying to expand my horizons. And then, I don't know if John Taylor's on tonight. He might be on later.
I think he's watching the Albion.
He
did say he might have it on in the background.
Yeah.
I would have the football on in the background and us on as the main event.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably there.
Who really wants to listen to commentary on football?
He's a ticket holder, so he'll be watching. Anyway, our buddy John Taylor, he said there's an American brewery called Clag, and they're on this website. I've never heard of Clag. I don't know if anyone else has. So CLAG. And I went, oh, okay. And he went, oh, guess what it stands for? And I went, I don't know. He says, cocky little Asian guy. And I went, what? And he said, look, and he showed me the logo, and sure enough, there's the Asian guy with his thumb up, and he's called himself cocky little Asian guy. And apparently the beers are meant to be fantastic, and I was just sold on that. I thought,
let's give him a go.
That's a bold name. I love it.
Yeah,
I like the logo. I like the humour.
That's why
self-deprecation is always good.
Yeah, that's why for sexy little Asian guy, slag.
Yes.
Short and stout. That's definitely the first time I've heard someone say my parents drink Mortalis. What can I say?
He has converted his parents quite hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So I suppose.
But anyway, yeah. So Clag, and then I bought some Bottle Logic yesterday. Which, if you don't know Bottle Logic, they're a Californian brewery. I met the brewer in Amsterdam. At a tap takeover at Beer Temple. And they do these massive barrel-aged stouts. That's what they're good at. So I bought a couple of bottles of something huge. And the reason we're doing that is because we're bringing back round 2 of
US versus UK. Yeah.
So we're bringing some US stuff over, and we're going to pair them up with some big UK craft brews and see who comes out on top.
Yep. So for those of you who didn't see the first US versus UK kind of competition that we did, that was probably last summer now. We did one ages ago. We meant to do one again since.
My hair was this length.
Yeah.
So it's gone down there and come back again.
You've come full circle.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so that was good. We had our first ever taste of Alchemist's Focal Banger.
It was Focal Banger, yeah. We had
that was
which demolished the competition, to be honest with you.
But
it was unfair.
It was unfair.
Yeah, it was unfair.
Which was pointed out in the comments. But yeah, we've got more of those planned.
So just laughing. Yeah, I'm just popping around to Grandma. She's comparing a fresh vaulted to a Very good. Very good.
Oh, a certain website has a selection of Bottle Logic available.
Yeah, I've just bought it. Yeah. Well, I bought a couple because they're fucking expensive.
I guess we know now which the certain website was. But yes, so that should be a fun one, because this one we're not just going to be testing the hazy pales and the sours against UK and US. We're going to be throwing in also a dark
and a smoothie sour.
Yeah, Mortalis will be going in. I haven't told my parents, but I've still got 2 cans of Mortalis in my beer fridge, just because I can't drink them. They're too sweet.
Which is good, because until you said I've still got some Mortalis left, I thought I was going to have to buy some smoothie sours from this website.
Yeah.
Which filled me full of horror.
Yeah, especially for the price that an American one costs.
Exactly.
Yeah. You'd hate that.
I'd hate that. Here's some diabetes in a can. Yeah, thanks, man.
We are fast approaching 20 past, which means it's time for our, if we're sticking to schedule, our first little Welsh brewery.
Shall I go to the beer fridge?
Go and do that, yeah. So I suppose this one... Big Ev / my dad said, I'm burgling you tonight. So, yeah, he's going to break into the beer fridge. This is why I got on with a lock on. So Nokota Wild Horse.
Bing.
So we thought we'd start off with a session IPA, because this one's like, what, 3.6?
Not a
3.8.
Not an unfamiliar beer, I'm sure, for most people.
Yeah, it's a core. It's out there in the wild quite a lot. And I think the main thing is with it, we wanted something that would lube the wheels up quite nicely. But then we also disregarded the fact that we were going to be drinking 6.5% IPAs as a warm-up before we started.
Did you go for a beer before you came here as well?
I had a can of Fell Brewing.
Oh, you didn't go to
Hell's Lager? No, I didn't. I went to go and fetch my daughter from nursery, and then I swung by Hot Vault on the way because I saw John Taylor in there. And because John Taylor usually watches the streams or our videos. So I popped in and I just said, are you watching the stream tonight? And that's when he told me he was watching the football.
Cool story, bro.
And then I went, right, I'm going, because I've got to go and pick Maeve up. And he went, you're not even staying for a beer? And I went, no, I was just coming to see if you were signing on tonight. Anyway, that's my story about when I met John in a tap room.
I mean, it's not one of your best. short and stale beer reviews. There are some good English Aussie collab beers out at the moment. Yes, absolutely.
Isn't that not Aussie brewery?
No, I've drank all them.
Ah,
so
bastard.
Was it Track? Was it Track who did the Aussie collabs recently?
Yeah,
it was Track, wasn't it? Right? I'm not making that up. Yeah, it was. Yeah. So Track did all their Aussie collab beers, and I can't remember a single brewery they did a collab with. I'll check my own taps in a minute, but yeah, if that's what you're referring to, they were knockout, all of them. I don't think I had anything less than excellent out of that whole pack. So
that was the DIPA, the Tipper, and the something else.
Yeah, I'd like to see more Aussie. That's it. Track and Cloudwater. That's it. Cloudwater did a few, didn't they? Of course.
Oh, hang on, yeah.
Oh, it's the V16.
We've got V16.
Got that in the fridge.
We've got that tonight.
There we go. It's all melding into one now. We drink too much beer. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, in that case, we'll crack that in honour of our Aussie compatriots.
We are featuring an Australian brewery tonight.
Yeah,
just based on the fact. Yeah, I bought along DIPA V16 because I think it's actually going to be a really interesting one because
I've had that.
Paul had it and hated it.
I didn't hate it. I said it was a nothing beer.
I mean, that sounds pretty hateful to me. Then he gave me a can, or we shared a can when I came around and done some filming, and I was like, "This is really nice." And he went, "Yeah, I don't remember it tasting like this."
First time,
yeah. So I've got one in my fridge which I've bought today because we can compare it with past memories.
Yeah, we can have a third attempt and see if it balances out. But yeah, I'm hoping to like it again. But yeah, the track that's magnificent.
Well, I look forward to trying that one. So Wild Horse Session IPA. Throw me the can, young man.
But there's not much info on that. I don't think they tell you which hops and whatnot are in there. I think they're one of them.
It's a core beer. Usually, it's going to mean that they've got lots of hops in that beer because it's better to make sure you've got lots of different ones to throw in there in case you can't get hold of the one that you're after, if that makes sense.
It's all Fuggles.
All Fuggles. Brewery from Llandudno, which is on the north coast of Wales, if you believe that it exists. A lovely old seaside town with a, what do you call those things? Is it
Welsh people?
I was going to say a vernacular railway, but it's not that, is it?
Vernacular
railway. That thing that just goes up like a hill and then comes back down.
Yeah.
Vernacular. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Eventually.
Maybe I got my vernacular wrong.
Yeah.
Whatever. I've been to Llandudno, but it was way before I found out that this brewery existed, and probably before they existed because they were around
2015.
2015.
Yeah. With our in-depth research we did 2 seconds before we pressed go live. 2015.
We were late.
By I don't know if they're a couple or their brother and sister, but they share a last name.
Okay.
Farragut, I think they're called.
There's lots of power couples.
Dave and Emma, or Dan and Emma, I can't remember.
Lots of power couples in craft beer.
Yeah, so but they're doing good stuff, man. I got a Wild Horse box from Bruiser January. Nice, all good. I don't think there was anything knockout.
No, I think
nothing blew me. It's a bit like Two Flints, to be honest with you. I got the same feeling when I had that box. I enjoyed every beer, but I didn't stop and go, "Wow, more of that, please."
Yeah, can be. Vernacular Railway is a great name for a beer.
Yeah, put it on the list.
And it's actually Funicular Railway.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Funicular, what do we say?
Vernacular,
yeah.
I think. After we said vernacular. Or after I said
what we're thinking of this beer, anyway.
I mean, yeah.
I've had it before.
I've had it before. I've pinted it before. It's very pintable.
You could smash that.
It's got all the light, soft, citrusy notes that you would expect in a core session IPA.
3.1
Session IPA. Now, this is a thing that I've thought there's always perhaps room for a video in. Paul's dishwasher's done.
That was scary.
It scared you.
Why does it? What a stupid design feature! It just pops open.
No, mine does the same. I think it's probably universal on all dishwashers.
I know, but it shouldn't happen.
No, it's a bit weird. Isn't it? Maybe they overheat.
Not in 2024.
I'd have thought they'd have a better way of doing it. I've got to write mine to go and investigate.
Let's stop talking about the dishwashers.
Sorry. Yes. So what was I talking about now?
Session IPAs.
Session IPAs. Yeah. So one of the things that I've thought about is what's the difference between a session IPA and just a pale ale? Because realistically, they could be around the same ABV. Although, if in some regards, pale ale is actually higher in ABV than session IPA. So,
this is where marketing gets involved, I think.
Because then there's also breweries doing micro IPAs.
Oh no!
And it's like, what is that? Like Neon Raptor were doing micro IPAs, and I was like, it's just a marketing term. Obviously, they're not real styles. Paul gets quite hung up on real styles, don't you?
I mean, I don't get hung up.
Sort of do.
I mean, I just think when someone say, "Oh, what style is it?" and someone says it's a mountain IPA, you're well within your right to go, point to me in the CJB style guide where it says mountain IPA.
Yeah.
Where is this style?
But we were talking about this on the way down today. I also find it weird that like New England IPA or like an East Coast IPA
isn't a style.
But it's got its own untapped thing.
Yeah.
Whereas West Coast don't. They're just called American Pale Ale.
American Pale Ale.
Or American IPA.
American IPA. Yeah.
What's that about?
I don't know. I just wish that everyone would get along. They should just speak to each other.
I mean, it's all just marketing, isn't it? So
I mean, I reckon if I had to understand why they're calling it a session IPA, I'd say because they're highlighting the bitterness of that beer over perhaps like the mouthfeel or the fruity elements of it. So they're trying to highlight the fact that it's more similar to an IPA than a classic pale because we've amped up the bitterness. But to amp up the bitterness typically means more booze. So they're doing some kind of alchemy, if that's the case. But I'm yet to try a session IPA that isn't just a session pale.
I'm going to just taste this and say it's a pale.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
whatever floats your boat, I guess. All this says to me, this little brief discussion that we've had, is that we probably need to research it a little bit more if we're going to do a video on it and find a definitive answer.
We just might go around up.
James Nichol thought it was because you can have 6 pints.
Oh, that's the session element for sure. I mean, all agreed on that.
And apparently I was at Llandudno in 2008 before beer was invented and we had to drink Bloody Marys. I remember drinking Bloody Marys.
This is really dangerous. You've got both your parents on.
It's weird, isn't
it? I'm assuming they're drinking. So they might start getting quite loose.
It won't be Mortalis because they've got none. But
if we don't hear some embarrassing stories about Chris by the end of this, from when he was a child, they'll be very disappointed.
They can't hurt me. They've been my parents all my life. And I'm used to it.
Something really embarrassing, please. But really, really, really embarrassing. It's going to trigger that kind of childhood memory. That you go, oh, fuck, I've blocked that out.
Well, all right.
And then you just sort of regress.
And then you find me on the little corner sofa over there. Yeah, well.
Yeah, and go on.
Who knows? It could happen.
Cool.
Can it happen before 10 o'clock? We'll find out.
Let's break Chris by 10.
If the booze doesn't break me, some embarrassing stories from my childhood will. So, yeah, I mean, we should probably pay a visit to Wild Horse.
Well,
because...
But you can't really, can you? Because there's no tap room.
But...
Yet.
Here we go. This is news that you found out that I didn't know.
Yeah, no, just skimming Instagram, I think it was earlier, just before this. And apparently their new tap room is going to be completed by the 22nd of March.
There we go. That's a day before my daughter's birthday.
So
might take her there for her birthday.
So obviously I won't be around for my daughter's birthday. I'll be in Manchester.
I'll leave her here. Have you got any good anecdotes about Wales? I suppose as it's St. David's Day. Let's throw in some good anecdotes.
I spent a lot of time in Wales at one point, walking around, going up cliffs, doing active stuff, but nothing really.
It's pretty much what most people will be doing in Wales.
Yeah, I mean,
going up cliffs and walking up mountains.
Yeah,
getting rained on.
I mean, there's definitely a time a bunch of us went down to a small village in Wales, and we ended up doing a lot of herbal jazz cigarettes and other substances, and everyone getting absolutely monged and then basically being asked to leave.
Oh.
Because there's like one pub in the middle of this tiny little village, and it was clear that there was a very arsehole bunch of 19-year-old lads just slumped over in the corner. So
that's you all over, that is.
Was.
Yeah,
46.
You're reformed now. or you've just grown up. Because Wales is like I want to say it's the original New Zealand, but that would insinuate that New Zealand was never there. And
Wales isn't either.
New Zealand and Wales, they're both always been there. But yeah, it's like a really shit New Zealand in my head.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hope there's someone from New Zealand and not from. Actually, I've said that to the wrong.
Why is it like a shit New Zealand? Explain your workings.
Just think it's smaller. It's less of it. Doesn't have earthquakes.
It's smaller than what?
New Zealand.
You think it's a shit New Zealand because it's smaller than New Zealand?
Typically, yeah.
Loads of things are smaller than New Zealand. Loads of things.
Yeah.
So everything that isn't the equivalent size or bigger than New Zealand is shit.
I was watching a little documentary on Channel 4 that was like New Zealand by rail.
Okay.
But half the stuff that they showed in New Zealand by rail was, funnily enough, it was all stuff that you wouldn't see on the train because they went into the sea and they went underwater to look at the fish. It's like, well, I'm not going to see that from a train.
Not with that.
But I appreciate you showing me this using a train as a vessel, I guess. My favourite Welsh story is when I went there recently, and I went to North Wales, probably for the first time since I ever went on a school trip to, I think it's called Betty Coed. That's where.
Yeah, Betty Coed, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone goes there when they're like PGA and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like when you're doing geography at school, that's where they take you. This is where glaciation happened.
Hang on, sorry. Yeah, Matt's got the right point. He's smaller than New Zealand. Are you calling Matt shit?
I'm not calling Matt shit, no. That wouldn't be right.
Your logic has collapsed at the first hurdle.
Matt, the obvious thing to say here is Matt's not a country, but I also don't want to offend him. He might be a country.
You said things smaller than New Zealand.
Okay, well, I don't retract that because I'm
going
going to double down.
Shit.
Yeah,
Steve's
great. Anyway, so Betsy Coed went there when I couldn't drink. Well, I could drink, but wasn't allowed to drink, so I didn't go out and see any pubs because it was on a school trip. But when I went recently, I went to that same neck of the woods, and I was able to appreciate it in a far more cultured and
grown-up way,
inebriated way. Yeah. It was great. Like we went, it was part of the calendar crawl thing, and so Big Ev, my old man, drove. We had a few of the boys from the calendar crawl. Johnny Macro, he was there, and we went and stayed because there's nowhere pub-wise that you could go to and be like, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go on a pub crawl. Because unless you're going to a city, I don't think pub crawls exist in Wales, do they? It's like we've got a village pub.
There's a couple of little places.
That's like it.
Yeah.
So we thought it's going to be better if we just go to the pub that we're supposed to go to, which is the calendar one, and then we'll stay in a nice caravan park that's got a jacuzzi, which is what we did in the end.
Nice.
And that was great. So when we were driving from the pub up to where we were staying, we were just driving through the mountains, and it was getting dark, and it was, and my dad's lights weren't working. So it was really dark, and the rain was just hammering it down. And I was like, man, this place is fucking beautiful. So that's how I kind of remember Wales.
Wet and dark.
Wet, dark, miserable, but beautiful. Kind of like a good woman.
Oh dear. You were really fishing for something then, weren't
you? I was trying to think of something. I just defaulted to.
You just defaulted to
woman. As you do. But yeah, so that was same neck of the woods. I can't remember where. It was the north. We weren't far from that little island, Anglesey. Could have crossed the Sound or whatever they call it. I don't know. There's like a little stretch of water. Isn't there?
So I'm just put off by your dad saying he doesn't need lights. He has beer. So Big F, no offense, mate, but having a faulty car is bad enough, but drink driving and condoning it, unacceptable. It used to be a cop.
Coppers do drink drive. They drink drive all the time. It's one of the least bad crimes that they do.
Okay, corrupt police discuss.
Yeah, but yeah. So I like Wales. That's basically what I was trying to get to there.
I will say there's probably the best restaurant I've ever been to in my entire life in Wales. Yeah, called.
And you eat at a lot of bougie places.
It's quite bougie. In fact, it's intensely bougie. But when we started going
Is it
there,
Michelin starred?
It's like 3 Michelin stars.
Oh, okay. Well, fuck that. I'm not going there.
It's in a sea. Yeah, I mean, I can't afford to go there now. When we started going, it was quite expensive, but now it's like expensive. It's like mortgage your house expensive.
Fuck that.
I mean, for 2 of you, it costs about $1.5 grand. I'm not even joking. It's just stupid. I mean, you can't even fathom that. Anyway, but that was the best restaurant I've ever been to.
And people say craft beer is expensive.
And the one time we went, there was what's his name from The Walking Dead was there.
There's a few in The Walking Dead.
The main character.
Oh,
Rick Grimes.
Yeah, Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew Lincoln. Yeah. So there we go.
Did you say hello?
Oh, and there was a DJ playing. This is how bougie this was. Right, there was a DJ playing. Really small, intimate, beautiful restaurant on the Abu Dhabi estuary area.
Abu Dhabi.
Opposite Abu Dhabi, so not quite in the shithole that is Abu Dhabi.
It's like a shit Abu Dhabi.
Yep. And there's a DJ playing sort of intimate, sort of chilled out house music in the background. Really small little place. And
like it's Ibiza.
Just nice chilled out music. Because it was the dining experience. Got it right. And I kept saying to Hannah, my wife, I kept going, I recognise that guy. I've no idea who he is, but I recognise him. And then we asked the waiter, and it was Judge Jules.
Oh, okay.
It was basically playing for his dinner.
Nice. That's sort of what I do when I do the quiz at Hot Vault.
Yes, it's like the same thing.
Yeah, so I do the quiz at Hot Vault, but then they just basically give me free beer all night, which is great, but it's on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. You are Judge Jules.
Yeah. There we go. Better than being the other one that's deaf. Pete Tong. Or is he blind? I can't remember.
What does that say? Botologic sounds. So there's a weird emoji covering up.
Sounds a banger.
A banger?
Sounds a
bargain.
Bargain now, yeah. Oh, yeah, because you're fucking ridiculously expensive eating out habits.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't do that anymore. Can't afford that. Those days are gone.
There are some good ones in Birmingham. You said that Birmingham's better at food than it is at beer.
Oh, God, yeah, by country mile.
You've gone on the record and said that in our podcast.
Yep. I will stand by it. Right. I think it's beer too.
Yeah, I mean, we're heading there. And let's be honest, Session IPA isn't keeping us around. So it's time to unleash a DIPA.
Yeah.
We're going to...
this is the Polly's and Track, isn't it? I'll go and get it.
It's best to have this beer now while we'll still remember it, because we do have some boozy ones planned for after this. How are you guys out there anyway? So
what we're drinking, more importantly.
Yeah. So Big Ev's on Donk from Two Flints. So he's clearly getting through his Two Flints bruiser box, I imagine. Yeah, I mean, what are your guys? What are your opinions on if we did a proper drink along box? Would that be something that you guys would be interested in? Because obviously we've tried to keep this one kind of informal, very kind of like, these are going to be sort of things that we're drinking. Drink them if you want to kind of get the full experience, but really we haven't really spoken that much about them. It's just, but maybe we would if we were all drinking the same thing, guaranteed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's lots of things happening at the moment. Really exciting things, but it's early days for pretty much all of them, so we can't say much about anything. However, we'll talk a little bit about a certain collaboration we've got coming up soon, because we haven't mentioned it on social media anyway, so there's no great secret about it.
This could be the place that we come to tell the people that actually sit through and watch the live streams the inside scoop that they wouldn't get in a normal 10-15 minute video. Basically, we're making it so you have to wade through a load of shit before you get the little nuggets that you want to hear.
So yeah, we'll have a little chat in a bit about drink along boxes, things that we could potentially be doing, I think, and it'd be great to get your opinion. Bit of market research.
Yeah.
But before we
I could do one of those Google forms and send that out. Because I know Craft Beer Channel do one of those. It's actually really helpful. Well, I imagine it's really helpful for them. I've never seen their thing. I just know that I've filled one in every year.
I'll tell you what's really fun. Spreadsheets.
Yeah, I imagine if I had that kind of feedback, I'd be over the moon. I'd be like, yes.
Let me just present this beer because I'm very excited about it. So this is one of the Polly's birthday beers. So keeping with our Welsh theme, we've got the Hardest Part, which is the track collaboration. So that's obviously right up my street. Now, I have had this already, as I said. So I'm looking forward to trying this again. But it's a DIPA, 8.4%. And it's got all the hops. Idaho 7, Nectaron, Nelson, Riwaka.
Nice.
Oh, when I say all the hops, I meant like 4.
But good ones.
But good ones, yep.
Idaho 7, which we've done a Hops in Focus video for.
Yes.
Nectaron, which we haven't.
No.
Nelson, which is in the works. And Riwaka, which no.
I don't think there's enough beer out there to do a Riwaka one.
No.
We have got a Simcoe one coming soon, though.
Simcoe. Yes. So we've got Simcoe. That's a new Hops in Focus one that we haven't yet filmed, but we've got planned.
We've got the beers.
We've got planned for this week. So that one's going to be a nothing bound beer, which is a single hop Simcoe. And that's going to be in a more traditional New England style, I imagine. Yeah. And then you've got Alligator Tugboat by Pressure Drop, which is one of my favourite beers of the year because it's a grindingly bitter West Coast IPA. I love it. Single hop, Simcoe, boom. And we're going to compare Simcoe in a single hop beer 2 different ways.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that because I do like a bit of Alligator Tugboat.
Andrew is drinking Free Real Estate by Sure Shot. Happy birthday, Sure Shot.
Yes.
Their birthday
There's
this week.
Lots of birthdays happening.
Yeah. And Galaxy Dipper Burnt Mill from Matt. Now, the Galaxy Dipper, that was one that I wanted to get hold of to do Galaxy.
I saw that one.
But I couldn't find anything else that was kind of single hop Galaxy that would have kind of complemented it.
Yeah. Any good? Matt, let us know about the Galaxy because I'm intrigued about that.
Is it aggressively aniseedy? Because the last Galaxy beer that I had, it was an experience. I wouldn't say it was a bad one. It was really nice. But it kind of, in a way, it felt like I had more in common with a Scotch whiskey the sense that you're drinking it and you're like, there's a lot of things going on and I'm going to sip it because it's just very... And I remember Hannah, your wife, messaging me on Untapped saying, I hated this.
Yeah, she's got a real bee in a bonnet about Galaxy.
Yeah. But I felt that I started it and I hated it. I was like, oh God, what's going on here? But the more I kind of just sipped away at it, like I say, it kind of had more in common with a whiskey where you're just sort of drinking it and going, I can appreciate this. You've got to approach it with respect. Anyway.
Like a tiger.
Like a tiger, or like this track and Polly's Dipper. Mostly Polly's because the name's on the can.
Oh, yes.
Good. Anyone else got this one? I know that there's going to be some people watching this who are going to be drinking it because my friend told me that he's got one in the fridge ready and waiting. He's going to watch this tomorrow.
Oh, I see. Okay, so he's going to retroactive watching.
He's going to do us on catch up. So
do us on catch up. Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
We got your ronking. We haven't done the ronk yet, have we?
Oh no, yeah, the ronk.
So Le Ronk. Le Ronk is what we've now dubbed smelling a beer. So we're going to call it having a ronk.
Yeah, for those who watch the Hops in Focus, that's a little thing that we've started doing. A tradition, some would say.
We're trying to shoehorn in the tradition.
A tradition. And we on the recent Dare shoot that we did.
We got Dare doing it.
Yeah, we got Gareth, the head brewer from Dare, and we stopped him before we had a beer. Well, no, hang on. We've got to do the ronk first. And he's like, the what? Surely enough, he was suitably unimpressed by it.
Yeah.
He's just sort of like, I don't know what that is. And I don't know why you're doing it. Shut up, let's drink this beer.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I'm thinking now.
Le Ronk. Good ronking.
Are we sniffing now?
Just whatever.
Good.
Go on, let's play the game. Let's pretend we're actually a beer channel for a minute.
Okay.
What are we getting?
I'll pretend I didn't drink it. I'm definitely getting Nelson from that.
Yeah.
It's that white wine. Grape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the grape.
I'm starting to find now that I can pick out Nectaron.
Yeah, Nectaron's
Nectaron's a really nice hop.
How would you describe Nectaron?
It's got a silly name. I'd say it's very saturated. I think that Nectaron is very, it's very fruit forward.
It's your overripe fruit, your kind of dank.
Yeah.
You know, the dank experience you're getting. There's that kind of start of the horse blanket. Do you get it?
You love licking horse blankets.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Ruaka's going to be bringing to the party.
Yeah.
We obviously know what Idaho 7 brings to the party because we did a video on it, but Ruaka, kind of just happy to be there.
Good for Ruaka.
With a nice traditional Maori name, I assume.
Don't make too many assumptions. That's really interesting. It's got a bit of caramel to it.
I don't know if I'm getting caramel.
That's your problem.
I know it's
right on the back. It's got a real sweet, almost like burnt thing going.
There's definitely yeah. There's something that these two breweries will not appreciate hearing from me here.
Go on.
It's very verdanty. You know what I mean? It's like if you put that against a verdant beer and said one of those is a verdant beer, I think I could potentially slip up, which normally I'd say is absolutely I would never slip up. I would be able to pick out a verdant, even with COVID wiping out my sense of smell and taste. I still reckon I could pick a verdant beer, but I think this is very verdanty.
Can we do some real talk here?
This is the most real that we've done.
I want people's opinion on this because I've had this thought for a while now. So Polly's were one of those beers that kind of sprang up just before COVID, really, and really flourished in COVID. And there was always a new Polly's on the go. Pretty much every week there was a batch of Polly's, right?
I still feel like they kind of do that.
They kind of do, but I think my interest has waned on them, really, so I don't observe them as much. And also I'm not in the industry anymore, so I'm not quite as across it as I would be. And I loved Polly's, and they were really up there with just doing that sort of new age UK hazy pale stuff that everyone was doing at the time, but doing it exceptionally well and doing lots of it. And what they seemed to do was just tweak a little recipe, rebadge it as a different beer. And you know,
different hopping.
Great, that's their thing. I don't think they've done anything of any interest whatsoever for a lot. Well, the Quipper notwithstanding, because that was interesting.
That was a year ago.
That was a year ago. They kind of just sort of mainlined a little bit and just. I mean, that's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong, but they every beer I have by Polly's tastes a bit like a Polly's beer.
Yeah,
but without any kind of interesting, peaks and troughs, really. So
they're quite similar.
So I would, and again, I know I'm a Track fan, so I don't want to sort of make that kind of tarnish it, but I think Track are doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Real talk.
I'd agree with that, and so does Seabass. Seabass says I'd be inclined to agree.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think they're great at what they do.
Let's talk a bit about Polly's.
Yeah,
because what was it? 26 years. They're 6 years old.
Should we go down to the Polly's tap room?
No, they don't have one.
Oh, really?
No, but I think we did in our inaugural podcast, our first one. We did say some hearsay that I'd heard that they were going to be opening one in Chester. No, I don't know how true that is, or if that was actually going to happen. But,
yeah, I don't know about that, but famously there was a website, wasn't there, called?
There's still a Twitter account or an X account.
Does it still exist? But the website was, does Polly's have a tap room yet?
Every day they post no.
Yeah, so you just go on it, it just says no in big letters, which is...
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the best joke.
But... does your brewery have one of the cornerstones of being a great popular craft brewery? No.
Should we have a look?
Just see if you can find out whether they're doing anything. I'll read the comments. So Andrew said, I used to get excited about every Polly's release a few years ago. Now I pick up a can every once in a while and it's just good.
Yeah, I think that's it. Just good.
There is that. And Seabass said, but this tropical winter is lovely. So I've probably just contradicted myself massively.
Yeah, I've got that. Tropical winter. So yeah. I'm hoping
I thought you were talking about the weather. It's tropical. I mean, we have had a tropical winter, really.
Founded in 2018 as a two-man operation working out of a converted stable on a rickety wood-bound brew kit. We have rapidly grown, have you though? Because you haven't got a tap room. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so 2018, humble beginnings, somewhere in Wales. Blackbrook. They're in Moldon now, I knew that, to be fair.
Mold, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the sexiest names.
They're kind of a bit enigmatic, Pollies. They're not very forthcoming with a lot of information.
We've definitely, I think in our early days, we reached out to them about doing some content with them.
Oh, exciting news. We have arrived to the next exciting step in our development when in 2022, our first foray into the world of working with oak and barrel aging beers.
Oh, okay. Well, that should be interesting.
There we go. So when I said nothing exciting or interesting happening, maybe there is.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Big F, remember a polis called 5 years, I think it was a quid. Awesome. I think it was a quad. There you go. I think it was a quid. You definitely got that from the bargain bin.
5 years was the quipper, wasn't it?
That could be it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That'd have been their birthday beer.
Birthday
Yeah. Of course, because this is the 6th year. And,
Yeah,
I mean, as far as Polly's beers go, I remember the Patanist being one of the nicest beers that I'd had at that time when I had it. And I bought that one based solely on the artwork. I remember the artwork being absolutely stunning on it. It's really nice.
They did variations of the Patanist, didn't they?
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing that I'm kind of a bit... I struggle with Polly's sometimes. They keep changing their branding. They used to have a very familiar style where it's that big teardrop thing just in the middle of the can. And it's like, bang, that's a Polly's. But that clearly wasn't enough because now they have to say, bang, this is a Polly's in big letters on the side. But I mean, yeah, there's been a couple of different iterations on the
I think they've always had that.
They haven't. Definitely not.
For a long time.
They've had it in the last year or so.
No.
I had a lot of their work on my board of stuff that we have in the background in the videos, and that never had
I think you've got one of
names on.
Over.
I challenge you to find it.
Okay.
I've got the board here. That'll make a video or a podcast or something.
Challenge accepted.
Wasn't there a Tipper Patanist? I don't know if I ever tried that one, but
yeah, again rings a bell.
I wish. But yeah, no, this is an absolute belter of a beer. I'm honest. This is really good.
So.
Sorry, just to kind of fight you a little bit. You did say about Tracker doing a lot of their heavy lifting, but realistically, from everything that we know about collabs, realistically, Polly's being the home brewer on this, they've done the brew. Track might have sent like a bit of like input regards to what hops they want to use, but this is entirely a Polly's beer.
Yeah.
So
I get that, but it tastes sufficiently different enough to say, yeah, that is a sea change for Polly's beer.
Yeah,
I'm being harsh on Polly's, but I was just trying to prove a point, I think.
But I mean, you're always harsh on people, but it brings out the best in them. Brings out the best in me.
This is why I beat my children.
I'm your child.
Yeah.
When Polly's do a stout, they
agree with that.
But there's a little fucking heart that keeps.
There's a weird emoji thing.
There's like a weird emoji heart that's just hanging out on the comments there, and it's just like we're getting like.
Oh, hang on! I made it worse somehow.
We can start a live poll. Should we do that?
Live Polly's.
Live Polly's. No, we can do things here like.
Oh yeah.
Start a poll. Start a Q&A.
Nah.
Well, I mean, we don't need to do that. We can do a poll just for no reason. Just to see what we get back.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm not being unnecessarily harsh on Polly's, I think, but that's a great beer regardless. I really like it. Here's the thing. We talked a little bit earlier about stuff coming around the corner, and we've alluded to it. And I'm not going to give too much away here, but it's quite an exciting thing that's happening. We said on our socials, was it before Christmas? Or was it this year? I can't remember.
Are you talking about the
CBC.
collaboration? Yeah. So that was the Christmas video.
Yeah, so we've announced already that we're doing a collaboration with the Craft Beer channel, which is
Massive
cool
for us.
It's massive for us because, let's be honest, there isn't really any high quality YouTubers out there doing informative educational stuff and making a living from it, and being
they absolutely smash it, don't they?
A progressive force for good in the industry. So that's all good. So it's a big opportunity for us, and we're having some really. It was a bit weird, wasn't it? Because we jumped on a Zoom call with Johnny Garrett to talk about what we're going to do, and it was really weird because I've been watching Craft Beer Channel for years and years and years, and it was I'm sure you guys watch it or you're aware of it, but they have
talking to us on the screen.
It's talking to us on the screen, but it was in the Brewdio. So they do a lot of their filming in a little converted shed that they built to film their home brew and their drink along stuff in. And it was there, and it was all very weird. It was like what we were talking to him on his YouTube channel. And all very odd. So.
I was starstruck. I won't.
I mean, starstruck
beat around that. Yeah, the thing is, it's like because I got starstruck speaking to fucking James from Bergen. So it's like, and I don't see him on TV or on my laptop or anything. It's just that like I'm talking to the guy that made Verdant on with two other guys, but the guy that brews the beers, and I'm like, sign my shirt.
Yeah.
You can't because it's black unless I give him a silver marker.
Yeah,
which I did, and I got it signed. But yeah, so it was weird seeing it was weird seeing Johnny on the screen and talking to him. I was like, fucking hell.
Yeah. So
but yes, there's some very good stuff lined up with that, and it will be.
It's happening in the summer.
It'll be in the summer. Yeah.
But it's going to lead on to other stuff, which is really exciting. Again, I don't want to say too much, but in case things get in the way and torpedo it. But suffice to say, it could lead to massive things for the channel. And we were lots of partnerships as well, lots of different people involved potentially, and it's really exciting.
Well, you're creaming over it. You love it.
Not creaming.
You are creaming.
Well, it's nice to be recognised, right? So what do you need to do?
What?
I thought you were going to say while you're creaming it, I'm going to.
Oh no! I was just having to think about what to say next.
Oh no! But I was going to say it's very nice that we didn't have to do any of the work to make this happen. They contacted us.
Well, we contacted them.
Yeah, to do a thing, but they came to us originally because they recognised the fact that we were doing something.
Oh, so the first videos that we did.
Yeah. So
obviously wasn't about doing a collab, but they just said like it's nice.
They came and said really enjoying your stuff, good quality, great production values. Good to see people taking it seriously and not just filming on their iPhone and getting pissed on camera.
Which we all are.
Which we are, but we do.
But this is a relatively new thing for us, though, really. Isn't it? So.
So that's cool. So looking forward to that, and drink-alongs may be happening in the future. Let's put it that way. Right.
Yeah.
What's next? We've got 3 minutes.
Have we?
Stop the news.
I think on the schedule I've got that we don't open the Cloudwater until 9:15, but I don't think it matters if we're ahead of schedule because
we've got 2 Cloudwaters. In fact, we've got the V16.
Yeah, let's get that.
So that could be a thing.
Let's go dipper in.
Well, we've got our
faculties about us.
Yeah.
No, this is cool though. I've finished my dipper now on the hour mark, so. Let's go. Let's get it. Do you want me to get it from the fridge?
You get up.
You entertain the guests.
Is a thing. Right. Is anyone finding themselves buying way too much beer and they're not drinking it? Because the first time in as long as I can remember, I've got a fridge full of beer. I don't know what that's about. It's usually buy a load, it's gone. Within the week or the weekend sometimes. But we've got tons of it. Absolutely tons. He's gone to the toilet. I can just hear weird noises. Very strange. This is my new house, by the way. We've been here for a bit, so we've got this area here which you're going to do stuff with, and which we film again sometimes for a lot of the drink-alongs and the videos we do and all that good stuff. So yeah, when Chris is in the way, you can see where behind the scenes. So here's my living room.
I'll go away for a piss, and you're doing a house tour. What's all that about? Is it a slow news day?
It is a slow news day. Yeah.
Shit.
I haven't got many people on tonight, actually.
No, I think it's fine. The people that matter are here right now. So yeah, let's just go on this. So I picked this beer because of the obvious reasons that we talked about earlier. The one where you're saying that it wasn't that good, but then it was actually good. So we're going to find out now. Best of 3. Is it good?
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
DIPA V16. Now I'm sure that there's going to be a DIPA V17 very soon. Was this the one that's with the?
Let's get some fresh glasses. Let's stop being monsters.
Oh, this is the one that's with the Australian brewery. So.
Who is the brewery?
With the range, I don't know. But yeah, so I remember Paul saying that he didn't like this one. And then I tried it and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This is actually a really decent beer. And he's like, yeah, actually it is. And that's not because he changes his opinions based on what I say. That's just because. Imagine if you did. But yeah, so it'd just be nice to put this one to bed, really, and find out. DIPA V16, does it work? Well, it's pouring quite nice. Look at the colour and stuff on that.
Do we know? We know anything about the range? By the way,
I'll have a quick look. I don't know if we've got.
I've got to say, my knowledge of
Jim said, "Oh, that's decent." Had a couple of cans of that, so Jim's had it. It's got Jim's seal of approval.
Aussie breweries. I've got to say, I'm very, very naive when it comes to a lot of the good stuff out there. So, if anyone can recommend or acknowledge,
I can tell you that they're closed.
Australian breweries,
because they don't open till 12 p.m. Australian time.
Oh, they do that.
Each week they release new craft beer online.
Where are they based?
They are. I mean, it's probably going to be Melbourne, isn't it, or Melbourne? That's what I'm guessing. Let's see if I'm right. Perth. In 2017, childhood friends, I'm not saying the names, they were living abroad in London. Oh, that's nice. It started in London for them. While Matt was working as a brand manager for the London Craft Beer Festival. Through Matt's involvement in the beer scene, he introduced Gerard to the world of modern beer, and it didn't take long for the pair to develop a love affair with the industry.
Nice.
So it began in London, and they're in Brisbane.
Brisbane.
There we go.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sea bass is all over it.
Yep. Now, let's put this onto bed then. DIPA V16. Does it work? Ronk it. It's a nice ronk. What hops in this?
It smells a lot fresher, actually, now. I'm having it after that.
Wrong can, boy. There's someone there, yeah.
Oh, Cloudwater never say that, do they?
Surely that would say.
No.
This is probably going to be an untapped job.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, it's a lot lighter. I reckon there's a load of Nelson in that. It smells very grapey.
That's really fucking good. So I'll sip on that. That's very Nelson-y.
It is. It's very Nelson-y.
Here we go. So it is...
Nelson!
The hop lineup starts with Citra Incognito from Bart Haas, followed by Nelson and Motueka Sub-Zero Hop Keef, which is a completely new thing. We need to definitely cover that in a video. I have Sub-Zero Hop Queef.
Hop Queef.
Yeah. It then progresses to Galaxy and Citra Spectrum before finishing off with Nelson and Motueka Amplifier Green Hop Oils from Clayton Hops. Jesus Christ.
What?
It's an
amplifier.
It's all just words. It's all just really long.
What's the amplifier thing?
I have no idea.
And Motueka Amplifier.
And what's a green hop soil by the looks of it? Jesus Christ.
From Clayton Hops.
You need a PhD in brewing just to read that. But anyway, I think this actually tastes like an absolute banger of a beer.
You know what? I think after I've had that, and some sort of
it's completely different to the Polly's that we
some
just
quite heavy.
It's very
heavy
fresh.
beers. There's a freshness to that which I appreciate. Sometimes good beers you just need in context, right?
Totally, and I think that's the thing. People, because I remember when DIPA V16 dropped, and everyone's saying like on Untapped, not that you should ever really trust Untapped, but you know, there's a lot of people on there. I've got a lot of friends on there. The reviews were coming in on V16, and they weren't good.
Yeah.
They were like not bad, but they were just, this is really disappointing. I think what it was is that people just take DIPA V as a series and they go, fuck, that's going to be incredible. But obviously people weren't expecting this. I mean, it doesn't look like your typical, you know, Cloudwater V DIPA, does it?
No. Maybe it's...
it looks a bit lighter in body, but...
I think what it was when I had this is people give Cloudwater a bit of a hard time, to be honest with you, and sometimes quite rightly. But they've been smashing out some brilliant beers over the past 6 months, I think. In particular, they seem to really got back to what they started doing. And I'll be honest with you, some of the best beers I had in January and December were Cloudwater. I mean, I look back on Untapped before we did this to prove that. And that's the departure from that stuff. So maybe subconsciously I was thinking, oh, that's not the Cloudwater I wanted it to be. But after I've drank that, which is heavy as all fuck.
Yeah, the Nectaron is really kind of like piling in stuff on that.
The Nokota was a
hardest part.
Whatever, because it's a session beer. This has got its own character. So,
you know what? This is a standout beer for me. Like, I actually really like. I really liked the Poly's track one, but this is actually.
It's got the most character so far, I think.
It's refreshing.
Yeah, refreshing.
No, I
like
mean,
water.
For an 8% beer, it's definitely packing a bit of refreshment.
Refreshment.
That's nice. I mean, I'm glad that we've.
Does anyone know who? Do you know Paul Jones? From
I mean, I don't know him.
From Led Zeppelin.
No,
from Cloudwater.
I was say what?
Do you know who his dad is?
This is you're going into spoiler alert here.
He's got rumor is, and it's a rumor.
This has actually come from someone in beer, and it's
totally true.
Totally not true.
No, it's totally true. We were told by someone with his ear to the ground in the industry that Paul Jones is the illegitimate love child of a very famous celebrity. So I'm just going to leave that hanging. Feel free to have a guess.
Yeah, theories in the comments.
I mean, don't spread it, obviously, because we don't want to get sued.
I mean, if we ever wanted to do a beer with Cloudwater, I think a video with Cloudwater, I don't think this kind of hearsay that we're indulging in right now, I don't think that would be.
I mean, we'll put it up in writing that it's.
I can clip this up.
Completely made up. Clearly,
I can clip this up and put it as a reel on Instagram.
Yeah, I love that.
I fucking wouldn't.
I mean, they're not known for reactionary explosions of anger, are they?
Yeah.
So, what are we drinking here?
Neon Raptor, Them Bones.
Ev's on Neon Raptor. What's Them Bones? I don't know that one. Jim's drinking Track. Good man. Oh, you're on the Gathering. Oh no, was that a Polly's beer? The Gathering.
No, Track.
Yeah, no, but was that a collaboration? I feel like I've had that recently. Was that one of the Aussie ones, maybe?
That's a Sub-Zero hop keef as well. So it's popping up everywhere. So it was like...
No, thanks. No, shut up.
No.
Okay.
Stu's on Daya Glue, which is great because obviously we were there last week and the Glue series had just released and they were very proud of it, weren't they? So we got to try... what was it? Glue Tack, Glue, and Super Glue on tap, and they were really good beers. And I'm gonna throw out, not really controversial, but I'm just gonna throw out my personal taste. I'd say Glue Tack was actually really fucking good for being the lightest of the three beers. I thought Glue Tack was great,
but it's that situation where we you might not know it, but we worked really hard that day. It was a long day, wasn't it? It was, from
my first beer was at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, which is
in the morning.
Ridiculous when you're at a brewery.
No, in the afternoon.
in the afternoon. So that was a pint. So that first pint of
That's
something.
true. That's a good point. Good point.
And it was, don't get me wrong, it
And
was a
good
great
point,
beer, but
yeah.
fuck, that hit well.
It did, yeah.
Wow.
But I think I can't remember if I did that. I might have had my glue tack can as well, and I remember thinking, yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, I'm not tried it on can. They're all in there. So
because it's just I don't know. There's something really citrusy and zesty about it, and
beer.
it was a really good beer. And I remember glue, the one in the middle, which is obviously the original beer. That was actually the one that I was like, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's good. It's an IPA.
Yeah.
But then super glue was really good. The DIPA, because obviously my theory has yet to be debunked. You can't take an IPA, then make a DIPA version of it, and that DIPA version be worse than the original beer. Fight me, prove me I'm wrong. I'm not.
There must be an example out there.
No,
but, you know,
no. I think
I haven't got the sample groups to prove.
Take any IPA, DIPA it. That beer will be better than the original IPA. Doesn't work for dippers and tippers, I don't think.
No. There's a weird bell curve thing going on.
Yeah, it's like a bell curve. So it's the law of diminishing returns, or whatever you call it. So when you're buying a really expensive guitar, which you'll know everything about, you love guitars.
I have never bought an expensive guitar in my fucking life. I love you. Most of mine could be burned.
I spent a lot of time in lockdown watching like guitar YouTube videos, and it was like the law of diminishing returns was used quite a lot in that.
Yeah,
it's like you can spend the money on it, but really, if you're spending $3,000 on something, you're getting the same as like something that's like £800.
There's nothing ruins guitar playing like guitar wankers. They just bore off, man.
I reckon you could say that about craft beer.
Yeah, true. But everything really. But anyway, I was going to say something.
Was it about Dare and Glue? Because that was a good shoot.
Yeah. So when we'd done all the filming, we were pretty fucked, right? It was a long day, and we literally hadn't sat down all day. Even for lunch, we stood up for a bit, didn't we?
Yeah, I actually just didn't want to be stuck. I didn't want to sit down because I knew I'd also seize up because I'd been for a run the day before. And then there was also the fact that we just sort of like stood really stationary in our long interviews that we're doing.
Yeah.
Like Stu was like, don't move, you're in focus now. I've got this nice prime lens on. If you move, you're out of focus. And this is all fucked. So I'm like, okay, so we just need to kind of stay where we are. So we're kind of like
you don't know what your hips start going. You don't know what to do with your hips.
You're moving around a lot like this.
Yeah.
And
weird.
I remember when we went for lunch, it was really nice. That it was all home cooked stuff that they'd grown on site as well.
Well, when you go to a brewery, typically, what you'll have is pizza. Pizza or burgers or something of that, or some kind of street foodie thing, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but what they do is they have a little garden.
It's called a food thing.
It's a tunnel. It's a
food tunnel.
It's a greenhouse tunnel, but they grow sort of 60-70% of their ingredients on site. So they feed the staff, but the meals are actually healthy and nutritious and fucking brilliant.
I ate kale, walnuts, and something else, an apple in salad, all in the same thing, and it was actually really nice. It was called
a salad. I know this really confused you.
Is this a salad?
You put things together and you make a salad.
Is it a vinaigrette? But no, it was really good. The food was absolutely great, but
an onion tart, handmade and cooked by their gardener, which was stunningly good. Anyway,
and everyone was sat at like benches in there, and they were like all really accommodating to us as well. They were like, "Come and sit down, and we're like, "We just want to stand up." Because like
I did
our fucking legs were.
So I did sit down on the end of the bench.
And then he nearly fell over, like because a guy got up,
and then the last remaining guy on the end stood up, and the bench flipped over like that. So
it's a good job he hadn't had a beer, because otherwise it'd have been off.
Managed to grab my Waldorf salad like this. But yeah, that was embarrassing.
Did you do the mix firm tap as well?
I
never managed to go.
I was just coming to that. So yeah, well read.
So this is essentially the point of the little documentary that we've kind of got together. The whole thing with the Dale one is, the angle is they're more than just a hoppy brewery. Everyone knows them for Steady Rolling Man and Glue and Invoice Me for the Microphone, but no one really knows them or associates them with mixed firm beer. And they don't do a bad job of it. It was really good beer. Like some of the mixed firm stuff that we tried was really good because we're into our mixed firm stuff as well. And not just that, but it was the fact that these two tap rooms are literally a walk from here to Paul's toilet away. They're literally so close because he lives in a really big house.
About half a mile.
But no, they're really close together. And I was like, shit, we could actually you probably couldn't spend a whole day in the mixed firm one unless you're really into the bottles.
Yeah. But there's a lot going on there.
But you could definitely, there's a full day there just with like spending time in the two tap rooms and two totally different vibes as well. Because the main tap room, you've got the, your classic
tap room
benches, tap room, kind of, there's a working brewery in the background. There's 20 odd taps. There's a lot of taps. And there's music and shit. And then you go into the mixed firm one. It's way more intimate, but it's also, key point as well, the original site. It was originally where that was their original unit when they started up. So yeah, that's kind of why we really enjoyed Daya, and that's kind of the angle that I've spun with the video in the end, because there's a story there to be told, and also we can all just go and visit that.
Here's the sad reality of the mixed firm world. So the plan was we'd spend a bit of time in there with Nikki, the marketing manager, and get happily smashed, and then walk over to the other tap room where we'd enjoy the mixed firm. As we were about to do that, Nikki said, "Hang on a minute. Bear in mind, this is Friday night. He's absolutely heaving in the main tap room." She said, "Let me just make sure that it's actually open, because sometimes no one goes in there." And as it happened, one of the bar staff had called in sick, so they just decided there wasn't an audience for it and closed the tap room, which was sad. So people aren't going over there.
I imagine it's more of a Saturday afternoon thing more than a Friday night.
Reading between the lines is they keep it pretty low key in that regards anyway. I think they're not going, "Hey everyone, go from here to there," because they want people who know about it to go there and just sit down and have a nice quiet.
But you can also get your mixed your core range stuff there as well.
Of course you can. But
those breweries as well, actually, those two tap rooms, they're actually hooked up via lines anyway, aren't they? Because although they're separate units,
they go over the courtyard
to get the kind of beer and the wort or whatever over from the main site to the mixed firm tap room. That's just hooked up on tubes.
So
hoses.
But what they're doing apparently, because essentially the rears of each unit face each other, they're going to knock through one unit into the other and combine them all together eventually.
I think it'll make it more of especially in the summer,
just so you can start having people then sauntering from one area to the other, because otherwise you have to walk out the front door all the way around an industrial estate and through a back door around the other side, which
I kind of show that journey as we edit through, just to show how easy it is to get there.
And Chris has showed me some rough cuts just before we came on here of what it looks like. It looks spectacular, man.
Looks sick. So what we've tried to do with this video is really take it up a notch, because obviously as you guys know, watch our stuff, we generally, and a lot of this is because we self-shoot. So when we self-shoot, we go and see like your Barons and your crossover blenderies, and we need to just basically just set up in one position at a bench probably, and just stay there and have a 20-minute chat, or it's a lot longer, but it's cut down to about 20 minutes, half an hour. And there's hopefully then some B-roll that we can cut in over it. But with this one, because we knew, we knew that we've done Verdant, we've done Northern Monk, and both of those we had with separate videographers, because we knew that they were the big breweries that could potentially bring in a big audience for the channel. So what we wanted to do was make sure that when we got Daya, that we were going to do exactly the same thing, that we're going to have someone there that could basically, whack the drone out, get the steady cam, let's call it gimbal, but, it's that sort of thing, getting all the good shots.
Yeah.
So what this video means that in this half an hour doc of DIA, we go from 4 or 3 different locations within the brewery. So we go from the tap room to the actual brewery to the mixed firm, and then also there's a separate video on beer and branding where I spoke with Nikki about like the beer names and the artwork and all that sort of stuff, and that takes place in their kind of warehouse officey bit. So it was great to actually do a film where we could in half an hour visit 4 different places rather than just do a half an hour film where it's just me, Paul, and a brewer talking at a bench. And which is great because I think the content's still there, and obviously those videos do really well. But when we want to take it up a notch, when we want to kind of make it count, we need to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean the space for those videos, because when you go to somewhere like, I don't know, Barron, which is tiny, you can't do that because it's a small little room.
Well, you could see it in the background.
And Jack Barron is a endlessly interesting, funny, engaging character anyway. So that does that. When you've got someone like Daya, they've done this. They've done 1,000 interviews and 1,000 videos and stuff. You need to do something different. And I'll be honest with you, when we first met Gareth in the morning, I think it was you who said to him, look, this isn't going to be Steady Rolling Man documentary version 2, and he went, oh, thank God for that, because I'm so bored of just talking about the same beer.
Yeah, he says we're happy to talk about Steady Rolling Man, but it seems to be the only thing that people want to talk about.
Can't be bothered with it. So, and then we pitched the mixed firm thing, and he was right on board. So yeah, it was great.
Let's get another beer because we've just run out of DIPA V16. So let's. Oh, actually, what's next on the?
Wait, it was Cloudwater.
Cloudwater. Let's go then. Let's go.
Do you want the DIPA or the IPA?
No, let's drink with what we've got here. So let's do that. The birthday DIPA.
Yeah. Do you want the DIPA or the IPA?
Oh, I don't know.
They're both birthdays.
Just do them. So just checking in with the comments. Big Ev said kale, apple, and walnut sounds like a Waldorf salad. Yep, guess it is. Last beer. Cheers, dudes. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopzine, I'm going to keep calling you Rob because I think you're Rob from Hopzine. Nod to confirm. Not had much there for a while, but drank Superglue on Wednesday and enjoyed it. Absolutely, that was the thing. Superglue, really good beer. Like I'd say, it was quite hard for me to go. Well, it was hard for me to pick whether I like Superglue or Glue Tack more, because although one's a DIPA and one's a pale, it was more. I don't know. I really just, I think, like Paul said, that initial Glue Tack. It was the first beer that we'd had at Daya after we'd just done 8 hours of film in there. So it felt, that beer just went down really well. But the DIPA version, I thought, just was a cut above. But I would say as well, with what Daya are doing, we did actually question them in terms of like, because I felt kind of what Paul was saying earlier about Polly's. I also felt the same sort of thing about Daya, where they were quiet last year. Like you don't really hear much from them. And I did say, like, I'm used to seeing the Saturated series, the DIPA series, the Saturated in Mosaic and all that. And I was really expecting to see some of that last year, and that didn't happen. And also a lot of stuff when I saw Daya going into bottle shops, a local bottle shop or online, there wasn't really anything that I felt like was a big draw for me to actually spend my limited cash at the time. So look at that. That looks...
That's your Cloudwater.
That's a beer. But before I get sidetracked, so I asked him and just sort of said, look, what was that all about, essentially? And I don't think I offended him. I think it was all in good beer journalism, I guess. I won't spoil it because there's
BJ's
like five minutes of content where he's talking about it. But yeah, just basically they were consolidating last year. I had to just chill out a little bit.
There's a few hard-hitting Paxman style questions around supermarket things, and
I was doing my best Paxman, wasn't I?
Yeah, I think I did the supermarket thing. Or was it you? I can't remember. Anyway, we tried not to do a glowing. Hey, thanks for having us. I mean, it's great that we're talking today, and at the end of the day, they're a brewery. Come on, they're not anything other than a company who's doing nice things for
makers of
people.
Great beer.
Yeah. So you can't really try and make it too theatrical, can you?
No.
You have to ask certain questions, and I think the most pertinent one for a lot of the bigger breweries is supermarkets. What do you think?
Which won't make it into the main video, because basically the main video ended up being about 40 minutes. And this actually is where I bring you guys in, because I actually want to hear from you guys as watchers of the videos that we do. What's your ideal video length? What do you prefer? Because obviously a lot of the stuff that we do is more long form anyway. And we've always kind of, it's crept up from 20 minutes used to be the standard. Our Cloudwaters and our Verdants were like 20 minutes. Then we went into like Nothing Bound, and I felt like he had quite a lot to say that was quite interesting. That was like 25. Then by the time we're talking to Baron, we're hitting 30 minutes. So I think my hard rule at the moment is I'm trying to keep it all within 30 minutes. But by the same token, I'm not going to ever make it longer than it needs to be. And I think what I've done with this one, it was 40 minutes, the full Dare interview that we had. When I cut all the bits and bobs out in between, what we had was a solid 40-minute interview. But what I've then done is I've trimmed about 9 minutes, 8-9 minutes of that. And I'm putting that into the podcast, because obviously we do the Fantasy Beer Name podcast. So the idea is then that those little snippets, we can put the behind the scenes clips, or the extra bits which didn't make it into the main thing, they go into the podcast, which we can also talk a bit more extensively about then without them being there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the idea for what we're doing. So what we're thinking of doing is, when a video warrants being up to 30 minutes, we will absolutely do it. We're not sure how you guys consume videos, and without us putting out a Google form, as we talked about earlier, I don't really know what you guys do. I can look at stats, but stats are also like really misleading and really overwhelming.
Man. There's numbers.
But so just tell me in this chat or wherever, just in a comment or DM us on Instagram, whatever. Just tell us your ideal, I guess.
It's a weird thing though, isn't it? Because I think the way people use YouTube as a medium anyway has changed rapidly over the past couple of years alone. Because I think YouTube used to be, that kind of 5-10 minute kind of dip in, dip out high. And now there's loads of long form stuff happening on YouTube. It's becoming more of a valid long form medium, I think.
No, yeah. And long may that continue, really, because I think more and more people are watching it on TVs now as well. They will say, like, I'll wait until I can watch it on my TV, which is good.
Look at Craft Beer Channel and their big documentaries they do. They're sort of 35 minutes, 40 minutes sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've got one in here. Jim, for me, long form all the way. 10 minutes or less feels like an ad. 20 minutes is content. That's and 30-60 minutes is a video essay treat. So yeah, and Seabass 30 minutes is great for me. So yeah, I think as well, especially with this looking as good as it looks. I mean, if I may say so myself, Stu did an absolutely great job with it, and I'm so impressed with it, and I really can't wait to get it out to you guys. I'm really fucking psyched for that. Hopefully next week, barring any mishaps that we may have. But yeah, it's looking really nice. And I think I don't want to cut the soul out of it just to try and sell it to a wider audience. I just want to know what my audience want to see, and what will they best watch. Because I suppose there is also the other thing where sometimes people watch content in dribs and drabs. They might watch 10 minutes here.
That's the thing.
They'll pick up later on when they're
I generally
on
don't
the toilet.
think YouTube has stabilised as a thing yet, because content's a great description of what it actually was designed for. Dopamine hits, but I think your TikToks of the world have taken that to the extreme, really. So I think maybe what people are looking for now, and it's becoming more standardized, is more long form content on YouTube. And I think YouTube used to sort of penalise you a little bit for longer stuff back in the day.
And now it's the opposite now. Yeah. Now they want long form because they want retention on the channel.
You're watching a medium
without going too much into the weeds with it, because it can obviously get there, especially with me working in that. That's my day job to video edit. I do that in the corporate world, but like, I mean, when I first started doing the Planet Beer stuff, it was refreshing to be able to just follow this weird YouTube editing style where you just chop out the gaps and you don't necessarily have to cover the gaps. Like in my job, that's a big no-no. Like if you're cutting anything out, you don't want jump cuts. You don't want that part where you can see clearly that someone's missed a word and then you've just smashed it together. That's a big no-no in the world that I trained in and still working. But in YouTube, I was like, yeah, great. I can just make this as clear and concise as possible. Bang, doing that. And they call that retention editing. So that's a thing that was coined by whoever. But it all just focuses around. But it focuses around that whole kind of Mr. Beast. I mean, I still never watched a single Mr. Beast video, but he's the most.
I have no idea who Mr. Beast. I know he's the biggest YouTuber.
Yeah, that's it.
I have no idea.
I've never watched any of his videos or what he does.
Is he a man?
Yeah.
Is he a human?
Is a male, I think. But basically, his style of videos have basically been widely copied, and even his subtitles down to like on the shorts, like everything's copied. Like people just do that now because it works for him. So that's what people now expect to see when they go there. But then what's really quite funny now is everyone's like all these grifters on YouTube, social media kind of thing that are talking about
it's always TikTok,
how to grow your YouTube channel. And you've got all these people, which we kind of like keep an eye across because obviously we've got a YouTube channel that we want to grow. And you've got these people on there talking now about retention editing is dead. This new style of editing is now the future. This is the way everyone needs to start cutting the videos. And I was like, okay, you've got me. So let's have a look. And you know what it is? It's basically just not cutting the pauses out. They're basically saying, just let it be natural. Let you like have your pauses in the conversations and stuff.
Is this when kids discover time exists?
Yeah, it's like, bro, that's literally the way I've been editing videos for fucking nearly 18 years. So,
and then I'll be honest with you, 120 years before that, you know, it's been happening. Yeah, God, it annoys me.
But no, it is crazy because I mean, obviously, we swerved into the curve with it as well, where we did try and do the YouTubey stuff, which we still try and do it to kind of hold attention. But I think one of the main things that I've kind of realized now is you just got to know your audience. Now we've got an audience, we know what those people want to see. And generally, I think what people are going to want to start to see is less of this like really over the top, immature, choppy, chop.
I think we should just move straight to TikTok. And just stop pranking people, bro.
That's a good idea.
Just a prank, bro.
Let's go with some comments anyway. So Andrew said, I mainly watch on TV, so anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes is great. That's great. Yeah, I mean, you've got to, when you get your TV slot booked in with the partner, you've got to make sure you're making it count.
Yep.
This day of video will make it count. Seabass, love a Johnny Macro appearance. There's some Johnny Macro. There's some Johnny Macro in the pot.
There's some macro-centric.
Johnny Macro's got a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So he's very much like, where's he gone?
So Jeanette Macro is a thing.
Jeanette Macro now. I think that is her name, actually.
Yeah, so I'll be honest with you, Johnny Macro is probably just balls deep now. He ain't got time for this nonsense.
He's been single for a couple of years, and he's got
single man.
He's got a lot to get out of his system.
He's got single man.
But
now met a girlfriend.
Johnny Macro is coming back.
We have Johnny Macro in. I think probably what might be our masterstroke.
Okay, that's.
Do you know where I'm going? The school,
the beer boot camp.
Oh yeah,
we're going to do a beer boot camp.
Yeah, we've got it. Yeah, we're going to use Johnny Macro. Basically, we're going to torture him for 24 hours and see what happens.
Come back to that. Let's circle back to that. Just get through these comments. Andrew, I usually save beer videos for the weekend so I can watch with the beer anyway. Absolutely. That's the other thing. When would you guys want us to drop the video? Because obviously Craft Beer Channel do theirs on a Wednesday at 4. We generally go for like a Saturday at 10:30, but our views never come on Saturdays. Like we know that from looking at the stats. It's usually like a Sunday or a midweek. But it doesn't really matter because as soon as the video's out there, people can watch it at their leisure. Rob, I think you strike a good balance. Shorter vids like the hot profiles, longer with the brewery stories, and then the podcasts and these streams. Cheers, dude. I mean, yeah, I mean that's what we'd hope to be doing. We
still experimenting, so that's good to hear.
We've still got time to do that, you know. We still, Jim, sued to love those Simon Reeve docs on BBC. Stuck his new stuff on, and traveling a bit of stuff was all chopped out and felt jarring. I'm used to weekly long form TV. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, with the traveling shots in between. Yeah, I mean, we haven't done much in the way of travel stuff, but we definitely, it's something that we want to experiment with, and that's something that we'll
with great travel comes great expense.
And there's Cam.
Hey, Cambo.
Hey, Cam.
All right, buddy. The world's biggest bear hugger.
Yeah. Bear hugs a lot. Come and do some travel with me. There you go. Yeah. I mean, this is the man that we need to
go. Well, let's give him a little
talk promotion. About the festival that we're going to do with Cam.
Oh, that's a great job. So if people don't know Beer Guide Worldwide, this is Cam with a K. Hey, Cam. Whose Instagram and YouTube channel is Beer Guide Worldwide. A bit of a ledge. He also owns a bar in Liverpool. If you want to give it a plug, Cam. Great little craft beer. But I've never been. Chris has been in. I've still not had a chance to pop in. But follow him on YouTube. Follow him on Instagram. He gets all over the place, all around Europe, all over the world sometimes, and just hugs people. He's about 8 foot tall and he's just a gorilla of a man. Love him. He came to Stourbridge and nearly broke my back. So Cam is involved in a festival, aren't you, Cam? Remind me what it's called. Is it craft beer? Craft brew. Craft brew. Put it in the chat. All right, stop bragging. All right, fucking hell. All right, we're not made the money. Jesus Christ!
Unless you're taking us to Canada,
can't do that. What's the festival called, Cam? Bloody hell!
It's Craft Brew something.
Craft. Oh Christ! We went last year. It was in Birmingham.
Isn't it Craft Brew Festival?
It might be Craft Brew Festival.
He's still talking.
He's still talking about his travel too. So he's just been a big head now. Anyway, yeah. So there's a festival which will come up in a minute. There we go. Craft Brew Beer Festival. It happened last year, and I think that was Birmingham, Manchester, Leeds, Bristol. Some of those things didn't happen. Yeah, there we go. Check it out. It's a small festival, but clearly up and coming. They've got sort of luminaries in there, like, you know, Siren Craft, I think, were there. Cloudwater are definitely there this year, I think. Cam, correct me if I'm wrong. You know, Bianca Road. They're that kind of level, you know. Up and coming, finding their feet kind of breweries and gaining traction. So we'll be down there in the Birmingham one.
12th and 13th of July. I was looking for the dates.
Yeah, 12th and 13th of July. So we're going to go down there. We're going to meet up with Cam. We're going to do some collaborations.
We're going to do a podcast there.
We're going to do a podcast, some filming, all that good stuff. It's a great festival. Check it out. Last year, I think, was a bit of a balls up because, as I understand, the marketing company really fucked it. Right, Cam. So the word didn't get out very well, but this year's a whole new vibe. New companies are promoting it, and it's looking good, man. In fact, I think it's pretty much sold out everywhere from an early bird perspective.
For the early bird, you can still get there for your normal tickets.
Stick the website in there, Cam, if you want to promote it.
Other things from me before we get dark and silly. We have. Well, firstly, let's finish a conversation. Let's talk about festivals. So, what festivals are we all going to this year? What have you got on your calendar? Because obviously, beer festivals, craft beer festivals, love going to them, but like, there's that many of them when they come around. Like, you can't go to all of them. Not and also be a family man. You probably can because you're just a freewheeling man of leisure.
Just stop there. Stop there. Cam, you've already sorted us out tickets. You better have got us tickets for Birmingham because I've asked you 20 times, so that better happen. Unless you're inviting everyone on the stream, that's on you, really. Text me.
I think space for the podcast. That's what it means.
Got you.
Yeah.
Bless you. Thank you.
Confirmed.
Carry on.
Yeah. So obviously there's a lot of festivals knocking about. Just wondering which ones you guys are going to, because there's still a few that I've never been to, which are always on my hit list. Like
you messaged me earlier.
These Hills.
You
I'd love to go
messaged
to
me
that
earlier
one.
this week about the London Craft Beer Festival.
Yes, there's one in September,
So
September
I've been to
14th,
that
the
one.
big one, the Tobacco Dock.
It's
a We Are Beer one.
It's the Reading Festival of beer festivals. And
Yeah.
Take from that what you will. I don't think it's anywhere close to being the best beer festival. In fact, I think it's the most over-promoted, overpacked, almost obnoxiously rammed beer festival.
But I'm gonna also counter this because obviously one of our friends and partners at the channel is Ollie from Bruiser, and they're always at festivals. They're always knocking about doing the thing.
That's a job.
And he said that some of the We Are Beer ones, like, which they do all over the place, it's all you can drink with the ticket price and stuff. They are getting less. Some of the breweries aren't picking them to go to now because they're making it so expensive for brewers to go to.
Yeah. So
for some of the We Are Beer events around in different areas, like I think they cancelled Beer Central in the end in Birmingham, didn't they? Because it's like, well, I think the site is getting turned into the new BBC headquarters. Yeah. And then the other aspect is they made it so expensive that all the good breweries didn't want to go anymore. Yeah. But one thing that would be sure is that one at the Tobacco Docks in September, the London Beer Festival or wherever it is, that is a We Are Beer one, all included in the ticket. But you would have good breweries there because, like I say, everyone's there.
Everyone is there. But last time we went, and was it last year or the year before? Probably the year before. It was so busy, and it was in Tobacco Docks has got classic converted. It's like the custard factory in Birmingham, right?
Yeah.
So it's converted into this brilliant art space. So they've got these glass roofs. When you've got 30,000 people in this space, and the sun is pouring down through the glass roof. It was obnoxiously hot.
So Jim said, "Are there any festivals where you can buy a pint, 100ml pours, feel like you're doing the Century Club?" That's a good point.
A great shout.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah. I mean, I think to be fair, a lot of the craft beer festivals, if they are the We Are Beer ones, they do the enforced measures. But I think other beer festivals, you can go and say, like, I want a pint of something. Or
I think at the last time we were at that festival, and I might be getting it mixed up. They always have something on like landlords, which is almost like the pub, and you can go and have your pints there, but you're never going to walk around sampling stuff in the measure you deem fit.
No,
it's not. It's your 16ths.
Rob said, "I'm going to Nottingham Craft Beer Festival. Yeah. Nottingham's fucking awesome. Love Nottingham. When is it? I'll come.
I want to go to that.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
And the exhibition of prize ales at Kirkstall. That sounds interesting. That sounds really fucking formal. The exhibition of prize ales
is
Kirkstall, the saviours of North.
Hobsy, Rob, tell us about this because." I'm just going to piece my mindset together on this one. I'm currently writing a piece about camera, and
this is for a Hopinions piece.
Piece, and actually, okay, let's go back to the start. Actually, this is quite interesting. When we're talking about the type of content and long form stuff or short form stuff that we're doing at the moment. One of the most engaged pieces we had actually was a sporadic a piece out the blue that you'd said, "Oh fuck, I want to do a thing," and you went straight to camera and you talked about a thing.
Yeah, it's the future of craft beer,
which was the future of craft beer, which is and you just threw that together within like one afternoon.
And that's like the second best performing.
And that's the second, because it was very Well, it was from the heart for a start, and obviously it was
people
straight
want to hear,
to camera.
People want to hear insight and opinions,
and that was the 5-minute straight to camera. Here's my thing, right? It was like an Alan Bennett play, but drunker. So I'm doing my version of that at the moment, and it's around camera. And the reason that caught my eye there, Rob, was because that sounds very much like a camera beer festival thing they do, which is when they're trying to award beers the best beer of the year, with very little, insight into what actually beer is happening that year. So basically very focused on a very small, narrow margin of what beer actually is in the camera's eyes. So I'm on a bit of a religious rampage on camera at the moment. So the
festival at Kirkstall, this is Rob, the festival at Kirkstall focuses on trad styles, bitters, milds, brown ales, porters, stouts, stock ales, heritage styles. That sounds like it'd be Jim's sort of cup of tea. Jim in there.
I'm very much of the mind at the moment, and I won't go into too much detail, but camera has had its day, and it's going to be things like this, which should be in its place.
This is the thing, right? So
now is not the time.
No, it's absolutely not the time. But the camera thing is interesting, because I think what ultimately needs to happen is they need to change their opinions on things, or they at least need to open up a little bit to actually the reality of beer drinking now, because it isn't 1987 anymore. It's like it's different now.
Yeah, I mean, step one, that'd be great. Step two, they shouldn't be wheeled out as the arbiters of quality, which seems to be happening.
No, but I don't know if they are. I think they're literally becoming almost like a weird parody of themselves now, where it's almost like they're the man shouting at the clouds, angry man shouting at the clouds. They're kind of like that. And we've actually, more teeing up content that we've got lined up. We've got a little experiment lined up, which is around cask ale, sorry. So around cask beer, and it's going to be on the use of aspirators. Now, I don't know if anyone is aware of what an aspirator is. We'll explain it in the video.
It's like a butt plug.
Yeah, you basically put a butt plug on your cask ale.
They used to be carbed butterators until camera got involved.
What they'll do is they'll kind of semi-carbonate the cask ale to stop it from to basically increase the longevity of it. So what you'll have is a cask that doesn't have it, and that will need to be sold / drank within 5 days. Otherwise, it'll turn, go vinegary. And if any of you guys were around for the last live stream that we did, I had that rant about how cask needs to take a little bit of time in the shade. That's what you get. You get those moments where people are like, fuck that, not having it. Aspirators increase that time where we don't even really know yet how long it goes. We know that our local bottle shop does it, and even though cask isn't their main thing, because they've got like 18, 20 taps and they've only got 3 cask, they've never had cask go bad because they use aspirators. Now, camera would say that aspirators change the taste of the beer, or that the carbonation changes it, so it's not real cask beer. And I think up until fairly recently, they had a negative stance on it, and now they've adjusted their stance to no stance.
So
they've gone neutral
to a Nick Clegg. Yeah.
So now what we've got is a situation where they won't even put you in the good beer guide for whatever that's worth. They won't put you in that if you use aspirators on cask. So what we're going to do is put their theory to the test of, does it change the taste in the beer? And we're just going to whack them on in a pub. Obviously not for consumption. Obviously we're going to be trying them with the Hop Vault, who are going to do the video with us. But we're just going to test it, do some blind tasting, triangular blind tasting, and just let the results speak for themselves. Because I imagine that we'll find that one aspirated cask will probably outlive 2 non-aspirated.
But yeah, we'll put it to the test. We don't want to second guess it. But
That's a hypothesis.
It's the hypothesis. But so that's kind of the thing with me. If Camera have now decided that cask is has to be treated in the purest form, then why the fuck are they partnering with Weatherspoons? Why are they partnering with Beer 52? Why are they partnering with Green King, who basically treat this thing as a mass-produced macro beer? Why are they doing that? That's not the pure way of doing cask. It's meant to be a living, breathing organism. You're meant to treat it with respect. You're meant to do all this stuff. But they're literally partnering with the enemy of that stuff. They're partnering with the quick turnaround, the shifting stuff out, just for the benefit of saying they're keeping something that's kept in a vessel alive. And I just find the whole thing absolutely ridiculous. Some people in Camera are not like that, but Cameras as an organisation aren't covering themselves with glory at the moment, especially if they're saying that kind of nonsense, where there's no progression. There shouldn't be any innovation, all that stuff. I mean, Christ, man, if they're going to do that, they may as well treat it like, Belgian brews and lambic beers. Let's go right back to basics.
I think the grim reality with Camera is their members are dying faster than they're getting new members. So, and that's the problem. They're going to be struggling for relevance at a certain point, because eventually it'll be like I said, the angry man shouting at the clouds, and someone will go, "It's okay, Grandad. You don't have to be the arbiter of cask anymore. We've got this. We can still do it." Exactly. Yeah. That's eventually what will happen, because they need to be trying to get younger blood in and attracting people.
But they've already...
John Taylor's here. John Taylor, boing boing. Jim, I don't know about Camera, but they sound like the Jeremy Clarkson of beer. Nailed it.
Yeah. Well, Jeremy Clarkson is the Jeremy Clarkson of beer now.
No, he's got his own brewery.
That's the problem. Yeah, I mean... We can talk about this all day, and I'd love to, actually, because it's not. I'm taking a stance, obviously, to represent my opinion, and there's a lot of grey area. As sometimes the truth is often in the middle, but I really, really think the truth isn't in the middle with Camera. I think they're on their last legs, and I just don't understand. They feel like they're the bad guys at the moment. It's like they're stopping art and artistry, and I think they've lost track of exactly what they were set up to do in the first place. Let's put this into simple terms. They were set up in the 80s because of the rise of macro lager. The Carlings of the world was taking over all the pubs. They're now partnering with the same people who are doing exactly that now.
I know what you mean, but I also do think that I don't think Weatherspoons are necessary, because I know you said that the Weatherspoons thing, they're not necessarily a big evil. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm talking about Green, who are a big evil.
Yeah.
Because they are going out of their way to try and destroy craft brews. They are. It's to the point where the taxation is happening is enforced by the big breweries, and Green King are definitely part of that. So basically, fuck them. And yeah, I'll have my rant on a video, but
it's now nearly 10 o'clock when we were due to finish. Now, I still feel like we might have some unfinished business, and arguably we've actually got more viewers now than we've had throughout most of the time. So, shall we just get another beer?
Do you want hoppy and silly, or do you want dark and silly?
Should we put it to I'm going to put this to a little poll. Which one? Oh, so I'll just go. Shall we go hoppy?
I feel like you could just put.
Why can't we just go? Oh no, hang on. Yeah. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just getting to grips with polls. Which beer? Dark and silly, hoppy and silly. There we go. Start a poll. I don't know what happens now. Oh, there's a thing there. Vote, guys. Immediately we've gone to a 50-50. Oh, Jesus, what's happened there? We've lost the... Oh, there we go. That's fine.
I mean, it's not taken too scientifically. Tell you what, I'd love some water.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of water. Anyway, some homework for you guys for the next live stream. So whenever we decide to do that, obviously we're not going away just yet. But next live stream, our podcast buddy, Luke, who records our podcasts, he spitballs some ideas at us sometimes and actually comes up with some absolute gold mines of content.
Hoppy and silly ones.
Hoppy and silly is winning, 62-38. Hoppy and silly. And one of the things that he talked about, because he threw this idea out as a podcast thing, and it's if beers or beer styles were albums or artists. So kind of bringing music and beer together. So think of a beer and then think of an artist that completely pairs with that beer.
That's a great
Or
show.
an album that completely pairs with a beer. Don't answer now. Let's save it. Let's do a themed one in April or whenever. I'll say we'll probably do one next month, and we'll keep that in mind. We'll do it a bit of a music themed one. Bring your albums.
We can play it on here.
Yeah, you can play one in the background. I don't know if that'd get us like
copyright struck.
Copyright struck, yeah.
Of course it would.
Not that it matters, but anyway, have a think about.
You'll have Aerosmith on your ass before you know it.
Who's the one? Eagles. The Eagles
and Metallica. They're the famous.
My dad actually. I don't know if my dad's still watching. He might have gone off and watched like Oppenheimer now or something. But
again.
But no, he back in the early days, our house got a letter from Napster on behalf of Metallica, telling us to cease and desist downloading
that
Metallica.
Sounds so odd, and yet to me. So, like 3 weeks ago, it's ridiculous.
Oh, he's still present. Yeah, I don't know if you still got that letter, but that'd be a really cool.
Oh, that's well worth framing that.
Because I can't remember was the letter off. Was the letter off? I was going to say camera. Then was the letter off camera for some reason? No, was the letter off Napster? Or was it off Metallica's legal?
I think Lars Ulrich would have handwritten it, wouldn't he? Because he's a fuck. Anyway,
super glue.
We are caning the free beers to be fair at this point. But
yes,
it feels right.
Yeah. So super glue days. There was a nice little story behind this actually, which you'll get the full kind of mumbo jumbo in the beer and branding video, which will follow the main Daya video in a few weeks. But essentially, the glue series. It's all in honor of Theo, who's Daya's founder. It's in honor of his mother, who was still kind of is the accountant. I mean, I don't think she's the accountant now, but she started out and she was always doing the books. She was the accountant. So she was the glue that held Daya together. So they brewed glue as a tribute to her. And then I think this year there's...
by the way.
There's... see, dude, take it easy. Yeah, this year there's a thing, and I can't remember, without watching the rushes back, I wouldn't be able to tell you. But it was basically brewed in honor of her. They did 3 versions of glue, and it was all in honor of Theo's mom, which I think's lovely.
That's lovely.
That's lovely. And also times quite nicely because next weekend is Mother's Day. So best get in touch with your mom again.
I don't know if she is. Which one?
It's the mythology of you. Not you don't know who's your mom.
I know 2 of them are. Right.
But anyway, glue, super glue, great bit.
Napster was in Metallica's. Yeah, it was. Still present. Cool. Okay, well, we've lost Cam. So yeah, check out Cam's stuff. He's really good.
But yeah, it was Napster. The letter, the cease and desist letter came from Napster, but on behalf of Metallica's lawyers.
While I'm drinking the Daya, something occurred to me actually. Yeah. So when we were sat at the end of that day of filming, drinking all the Daya, as you do, all the hoppy stuff, you thought it'd be a great idea to finish on the biggest beer they had on tap, which was an 11% barley wine.
Queen something.
Yeah.
Queen Scorpion. Oh.
Now, barley wines is a good conversation.
You love getting into this conversation.
I do because I'm proudly behind the modern British craft beer scene.
Crocodile Queen.
Crocodile Queen.
Well, it's Queen
I generally think outside of sort of maybe stouts now, anyway, we'll talk about that we do things a lot better than most places in the world, right? However, when it comes to barley wines, the English barley wine, and I know it's not the same style really, but it's an easy comparison. I think English barley wines pale in significance to American style barley wines. I just honestly, some of the American and US barley, the US barley wines I've had are just knockout. I mean, like some of them have just been the best beer I've ever had in my entire life. Whereas English stuff feels a little bit of a time.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know the difference. One's darker, one's browner.
Yeah, I guess I just prefer American style barley wines. They seem like a more rounded beer for me. However, this was an English barley wine, and I had the first gulp of it. And I went, not sure. By the second gulp, I went, this is good. And by the third gulp, I just looked at you and went, fucking hell, this is amazing. This is fucking...
It was definitely a beer that kind of got better as it went along.
Yeah, this is good, man. It started going like almost like gingerbready, and
there was some gingerbread going on.
So much malt going on in there. It was fantastic. I loved it. So yeah, that 11% has sort of kicked us off, didn't it?
There was a lot of little dark horse beers and / places, because then also if you're ever in Cheltenham, this is a really strange little story.
So this is where I was going to go to,
because we were talking to the guys at DIA, and they were saying, like, because obviously we're going to go out, we're staying in Cheltenham, so give us your best places to go. And we're getting like a lot of good trad places by the sounds of it. So, because to be fair, could have absolutely smashed a trad cast.
To be fair, it wasn't just trad places. There was a few, good modern craft beer places on the list.
Yeah. And but then, and this was really weird, because Paul went to the bar to go and get some more drinks, and he came back and he was like, I've just seen Tiny Daniel, as though I know who Tiny Daniel is.
You know who Tiny Daniel is?
Well,
everyone knows who Tiny Daniel is.
I've just seen Tiny Daniel. He's told me about Planet Caravan. We've got to go there. And I was like, okay, what kind of sentence is that? I've just seen Tiny Daniel, and he said we've got to go to Planet Caravan. I was like, what the fuck? Turns out there's an old punter of yours, which I think you just assumed that I knew him because we drank in the same place.
Yep.
So, but yeah. Tiny Daniel, don't know why he's called that.
Because he's tiny.
No, he's
5'1".
Ah,
no, his sister's 5'1". He's 5'3". His brother's 5'2", and his sister's 5'1". And they call them the Tiny Trinity.
Tiny Trinity.
And they get like Russian dolls. They just go when they stand next to each other. They're remarkable. And then apparently the dad's even smaller.
I don't like Russian dolls. They're a bit full of themselves. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so we went to Planet Caravan after. That was the only place that we went to after Crocodile Queen, the barley wine that Paul was talking about there. And it was...
Yeah. It was... If you to AI generate an image of a hipster bar...
A millennial hangout.
Yeah, it was exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, there was too many curly mullets.
There's a lot of mullets going on.
Yeah, just sort of 80s, ironically, wore shell suits, that kind of thing. But we walked in, and the tap selection went from Gamma, I think, through to Nerd Brewing, with everything in between. There was some
there's some Beak, and
Beak was in there. Some really great names. So we went upstairs and just settled down. And the music was fucking outstanding. And I just turned around to you and went, I think they've actually got my Spotify playlist on at the moment.
You did say that.
Cardiacs, King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard, some of the best bands ever, really. And yeah, we just settled down, didn't we? And it was incredible.
It was great. We drank there till they kicked us out.
You lost it. I've never seen your eyes glass over so quickly, actually. I think you'd gone like that.
Really?
Yeah.
No, but we went back to the hotel then. And
I know, but there and then you went pissed.
King Giz, yes. Andrew's into King Giz. We're going to be there in Wolverhampton in May something. Yeah, we'll be there for King Giz.
In fact, I think it's Ambrose. Ambrose is in King's. He's one of the members. But
No, you've just got Kingers on the brain.
I have then.
Yeah. But
you went. So you weren't pissed, but for the first time that evening, I would say you were quite pissed because then
you said that I went glassy-eyed. Yeah.
Yeah, you went big glassy-eyed and you went, I want to go and get a beer, and you went downstairs, and we were being kicked out at this point. You were like, I'm going to go and get last beer. And then you came back up with a 13.5% Nerd Brewing stout, which was not needed at this stage.
It was
but they served it in a little sort of sherry glass. Because basically I think they're trying to get rid of us. But
I asked for a third. They gave us a half. We didn't.
I think it was the other way around. No,
we didn't need enough. We didn't need that much of it.
It's smaller. It was smaller than you thought.
Was it? Okay.
That's what she said. And yeah, so we got completely smashed off the back of that, and then we had to get an Uber back. No, we walked back. We walked back up the road. We got to Premier Inn, and we were like, we're completely pissed. And you went, I've got a bag full of Daya. Do you want to come in for a
So we're staying in different rooms because I snore really bad.
Too much, and I've shared with him once. I'm not doing it again.
So we went into my room. I got what did I get? Magazine cover, magazine cover. Got that out, and then we turned on the TV and it was
set on a Premier Inn bed. So you know what they're like. So you just sat on the foot of it, and there's a TV there, and we just had a sort of beer in our hand.
And then we're there watching,
flicking through late night TV.
40. I saw Seth Rogen, so I was like, this will be decent. And it was 40-year-old virgin. But then we're like right in the middle of a joke, and then there's just some weird butchery going on, and I was like, oh god, it's
the TV edit.
It's the TV edit, where they kind of like chop out all the good jokes, and not to get all like gammony about it. It's wokeness gone mad.
I think it was editing gone mad.
I mean, it was just shit. It was just really poorly fucking, and they took out some of the funniest bits. So.
Yeah. Anyway, but we did get to see Elizabeth Banks in her underwear, so that was quite nice.
They kept that in.
Yeah. Anyway, so at that point, 1:30, I went, fuck, I need to go to bed. So I went to bed, and that was it. And then the next morning we got up, fresh faced, lovely. I'd had a good night's sleep because I'd had someone snoring at me all night, so that was good. We got up.
I felt great because I didn't have anyone punching me in the night telling me to stop snoring, which I ignore always.
Got in the car, came straight back home, and we basically parked the car and went straight to the pub.
No,
and then Saturday night happened.
I've got no problem with saying this because my wife doesn't watch the streams. But yeah, like I told her I was on the motorway when I was 2 beers deep in the pub.
Sorry, I've been stuck on the motorway. Your parents are on anyway.
They are. They'll have my back.
So I'd say about 2:00 on Saturday, we were.
Well,
we were
what
well
it was,
into
Hotfoot had a big
takeover.
So we're like, okay, let's go and get through the Beak catalogue.
Yeah, nice.
Which we did, and it was there's some really good beers which I keep forgetting to log on to Untappd, so they don't count anymore. But there's that Duppy. Was it Duppy or something?
There was Deza, which was
really good.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, we drank way too much, and we just topped straight back up. And I came back to watch the rugby, and I went past the Wagon, which used to be my local pub. If it was shit, and Dan, the owner, was stood outside.
Not even in his own pub.
He was just outside on the phone. And
he just wanted to be away from it.
And he said, "Rugby's on, come on." So I went in there and had another 2 pints.
Oh, so you did? You literally said that you weren't never going to drink it there again, and then. Like literally,
I'm sorry.
An hour later, you're in there.
I got.
Oh my!
I basically got kidnapped.
What was? He had a really principled stance while we were in.
He went out the window.
In the hot vault. Like, he was saying, because here's the story. One of our friends, Jack, who has also helped us film on the channel, he's local. Like he literally lives.
He's around the corner from us.
He lives like a 20-second walk away from it, so he's always there. And he went in for this. He goes in for the craft beer, but he had a beer and it was like grey and horrible. And he rated it on Untappd and was like, "This is fucking ridiculous." And it turns out when the brewery got in touch with him and said, like, "This beer's been out of date for like some time."
Yeah, we stopped brewing it about 5 years ago.
It wasn't 5 years, but like,
spread it around.
But essentially, it's what you've always said about this pub that he talks about. This guy just bought all these craft beers, not really knowing what he was doing. Just sort of like, I'm going to whack some craft beer taps in. I'm going to do like a big craft beer thing. He's bought a load of stuff 12 months ago, and then he's just thinking, because it's not cask, I'm going to just keep whacking it on.
It's a backstreet boozer in the Black Country, it's nothing to sell.
I mean, he bought an entire keg of Holy Goat beer. Now, think about that for a second. Holy Goat beer. What the fuck? Like, I love Holy Goat, but I've got to be in a very particular mood for it, and it's almost never in a pub.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, he bought some hard seltzer, which is obviously what the people of the Black Country want.
It's just insane. But the thing is, Paul made this principled kind of stance in the hop vault when we were relaying this information to Mark, the owner of there, saying, and look at this. They've really got, look at it. Beer from 12 months ago. It's only just going on tap. It's ridiculous. No wonder it's out of date. I'm never going in there again until they sort their act out. Now he tells me that an hour later he was in there watching the rugby. I feel fucking lied to.
I mean, I think about that pub in two splits, right? You've got the wannabe craft beer pub, and then you've got the owner I've known for 9 years now since he owned the place. Calling me in. I just regress to a child. Come in.
No, that's fair. I'll get it.
Come and drink some incredibly boring malty.
To be fair, but that's the reason why I think, in a way, like,
that was great.
Self-imposed. What do you call them? Not embargoes. The other word.
You just self-barred.
No.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, that word.
Yeah.
Like where you just say you're not going to do it. I think that's. It's not an embargo. What is it? Fucking.
Yeah.
I can't think of the word. What they keep talking about doing it to Israel. Don't buy Israel stuff.
It's gone too political.
It's a thing. It's got a word anyway. Yeah. Whatever that word is, I don't believe in that anyway.
I've had way too much to drink to think about common words now. It's just gone out my head.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess the point was there's no point. Just we enjoyed Cheltenham. In fact, we had a great time in Cheltenham.
Sanction? No, sanction isn't the word. Boycott. Boycott's the word I'm thinking of.
Jeffrey Boycott.
Boycott. Yeah. No, I don't really believe in boycotts in the sense of, like, I don't really think it achieves that much. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that I don't agree with the reasons that you might be boycotting for, but then by the same token, I really do doubt how much of it is actually useful.
Thanks, Chris.
Which is why I was saying, no, but I'm actually backing you up here. Yeah. You were self-imposing a boycott on the wagon in the pub, which you didn't need to do.
Yeah, but you talked yourself the big blonde eyes of that massive.
But then when you saw
overweight landlord luring me in with his promise of rugby and
this is another thing, right? So while we're we've still got a bit of time. So while we're on the subject of this sort of thing and Paul's principled stances,
which apparently nothing.
So there was we all know that Paul had a shop. He had a shop on Lower High Street in Stourbridge, and he struggled with all manner of opening hours and closing times and all that sort of stuff, because there was a really difficult resident, but also a councillor that was absolutely making sure that any request...
Oh, we're going there, are we?
We're going there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, we'd like to talk about this now. Okay.
I think so. Why not?
That's good now.
So he was basically, there was a certain councillor that was not allowing or not accepting Hall, which is Paul's shop, request to open later than you wanted to, or open on Sundays, which you couldn't do either, and Mondays and all that sort of stuff. So fine, okay, Paul's shop closes down. Fine, not necessarily entirely because of those reasons, but those reasons definitely, count.
I would say they were mainly because of that reason, to be honest.
So that happens. Anyway, not long after that, Paul sets up in Birmingham. But then also, it turns out that literally just up that same street, like we're talking probably like 10 doors.
I mean, if you walked out of our shop door and you went like that and you looked literally about 2 meters that way, there was a shop.
There it is, yeah. And it's got those, those like obligatory like pieces of paper that are put on a lamppost, and they go, "This is what's going to be happening to this," and it all gets published. Planning permission for a 3-story craft beer bar. So like, what the fuck? Because obviously, why would anyone set up there? Because you've just seen that just down the road, there's
not just down the road, but about 3 doors down.
Yeah, like there's a fucking a craft beer shop that's way smaller that's gone down. So Paul does a bit of digging, and then you find out that one of the business partners. So there's 3 men involved in this, and we don't need to bring the other 2.
The third one's long gone, so we'd have to disparage him.
But one of them is a Conservative councillor in Dudley Council who was responsible for denying Paul's request to open up his thing for longer. But what I really found was really funny, the icing on the cake of this story, was that your mum knew about it and then said to you after you've moved out, she went, "Oh yeah, so and so's having himself. He's getting a one of those beer shops now." And you're like, "What? How do you know him?"
Yeah, my mum wouldn't know nothing about this, by the way. She's so naive.
Yeah. And so she's like, "Well, he's always said that he wants one."
Yeah. So yeah.
And I was like, "What the fuck, Mum? You didn't tell me that." Like the guy that
it would have clicked.
Yeah.
It's just beyond her capabilities of rational thought, to be honest.
But anyway, so that's the thing. So as a thing, that place is set up now, and to be fair to it, you've got to give it credit where it's due. It isn't what it said that it was going to be. It isn't a 3-story craft beer haven. It's literally a 1-story trad pub / wine bar that also dabbles in a bit of craft beer. But you're talking their craft beer selection also has Brewdog, Wingman on as a fairly regular offering. So it's nothing that the Hop Vault, which is just up around the corner, has got anything to worry about now. But Paul, I mean, I'm sorry to bring you into the firing line, but that was where this story started. But because of this, I was like, I'm not going in there. I'm not going in based on, I'll go in there after.
I just realised where you're going with all this.
And then one night, I just popped into, it was on probably a Thursday or a Friday because I was picking my daughter up from nursery, and the Hop Vault is on the way to nursery. So I was like, in there for a beer. Didn't see Paul. Might see him sometimes on a Friday afternoon, but he wasn't there. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have a walk down. Cross paths with him on the high street, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've just been in, just been in the crafty jar. Yeah, just went in there with was it Dave or something? Craig. Just been in there with Craig. Yeah. It's nice in there, but a bit shit. Anyway, I'm going, and I'm like, hang on. I thought about it after he left. I was like, he's been into the same pub that I'm just like taking this principled stance that I'm not going to go into. And so since then, I'm like, fuck it. Why bother? Why bother with boycotts? That's my point. That's my story.
So in my defense, I feel like I'm ganged up on
No, I'm ganging up on you.
I'm joking.
It's like, let me read the comments. You carry on with your story. Carry on defending yourself.
The reason I ended up in that place was, one, I've realised that I can't be bothered with any kind of retaliation. Just life's too short, right? And also, I hadn't seen my best man in about 3 years at that point properly. To sit down with him as a human being, and he was just in there. So I went in. So it was
That's
a thing.
Fair enough.
It was a thing. Yeah, but anyway, that's by the by. But anyway,
crooked Tory councillors. Tell us all about
that's the big scandal. Let's not talk about it now. But yeah, crooked councils. No wonder everyone's going bankrupt.
I mean, isn't it a thing that like councillors technically they aren't even being paid anyway? They're just sort of like their day job is something else, and then they don't get paid.
There's certain ones they're full time, but
either way, this guy,
Councillor Steve Jones, Google him. And, he's a scumbag anyway.
Wow. So we did name him in the end. Yeah. Well, that might make a nice little clip that I can do for social media.
Yeah. Prick.
But anyway, we're down now, and we have only 10 minutes left. If we're sticking to a hard rule of this drink along has gone on far too. Let's go dark.
As in Andy McNabb.
Yeah, it's time for a beer.
Right, I've got a couple here. I'm going to shout them out.
Oh, okay. Let's do a vote.
Okay. Tempest.
Oh God, no, let's not bother. Actually, it's fucking. It's
Colonel, Tempest, Alpha Delta. Pick one.
3.
Oh, that's Colonel. So was Colonel.
Hang on, I said 3.
Did I say 3?
Alpha Delta, aren't they dead now?
That's not dead now. I need a piss.
Sure, there's a Reeves and Mortimer sketch about this. Coxey. Paul would absolutely love that. Are we going to drink this beer from? We're going to get fresh glasses. Anyway, thanks so much for joining tonight, guys. It's not reached the heady heights of the last one where it was like 20 plus viewers, but what I like to think is what we've got here are the hardcore. We've got you guys, and ultimately it's not January now. And yeah, this is what matters. It's nice to just check in with you guys and just talk this shit. I have no idea now what we're going to talk about in the podcast because I think we've pretty much covered this. So the 10 of you that were here earlier, you may have to rehear some of this material again in podcast form because we've probably got nothing else to talk about. Well, I've got my trip to Prague. I went to Prague. That was fun. So maybe we'll talk about that as well. So there'll be Prague, Daya, and other stuff. I'm just watching Paul try and collect glasses now.
All the good glasses disappeared.
What we all drink now, what we're finishing the night on. If indeed you are finishing the night, maybe you're not finishing the night, maybe you're going to carry on. I think we will carry on actually after this, but we're not going to do it online because I need to wee.
Should we start fingering each other? Right. So, here's a weird thing. I was trying to find a couple of big dark beers to finish the night on, and I pulled out quite a lot of stuff which I forgot I had. So we've got this big crate full of stouts at the moment, and there's loads of old stuff. So we've got things like there's a Colonel Dry Exports. We've got a Cloudwater Orange Stout over there, and there's loads of stuff. Missing Link. Twisted Barrel, Caramel Porter. But I found that. So the now long defunct, or not long defunct, but defunct Alpha Delta. So that might be a bit sad, really. Yeah, miss these boys. But this is something I don't remember buying. I don't know where it's come from, but it's 9.5%. It's an export dry stout. So I think that's to say goodbye. Say goodbye to an old brewery as well. Yeah,
that's nice.
There's poeticness there.
I mean, to put this whole entire stream up to this point into context, we talked about in the podcast. Well, we're going to do like a Bruce Springstream or a Ken Dogcast.
Ken Dogcast.
We'd still have at least another hour to go, perhaps another hour and 20.
Yeah.
To talk. I mean, would we? I actually think we get better as we go on because we get more drunk.
Hang on, but there's an alternative. I've been listening, and we've mentioned them a couple of times. King Gizzard in here somewhere. So King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard are now famous for doing the Red Rock 3-hour massive extravaganzas. So we need a King Giz version of a Bruce Springstream.
Okay, so we just need to find a stream pun in there.
Yeah. So
now, Andrew actually, he's just said, "I'm going to Prague this year. Any beer recommendations?" Yes. So, what I have for you, sir, is depending on where you're staying, but I mean, Prague's it's a big city, but it's all fairly accessible. You can get around it on the tram that goes around. But I imagine you're probably going to be staying in like the Old Town or something like that. And there is a craft beer place which only opened like 2 months ago, which I went to, and it was just behind the hotel that I was staying in. And it's called Siberia. And it's spelt Beer. So think about that. So Siberia. And I did ask about the name because I was like, Siberia, but we're in Prague. What's that all about? So I asked the guy. I went into that pub or that little tap room, and I sat at the bar, and I saw that they had 12 beers on, and I just basically went, I want all 12 of those beers in tasters. With some water, and I was doing a little tasting session because a lot of them are all their own beers. And I've got to say,
you were by yourself as well, weren't you?
I was by myself, and it was lovely. I've got to say, some of the modern stuff that they're doing, their New England IPAs and the pale ales and stuff, they even had a single hop nectar on beer, and it was really fucking good. Like, I've had many worse, like hazy pales in this country than over there. Where I was kind of thinking when I went into it, I was like, it's going to be a bit naff probably because this isn't their forte, because their forte is going to be lagers and pilsners and stuff.
But no, still is.
These guys nailed it, and it turns out that they're called Siberia because their owners are Russian. But that's all I found out about it. So it could be dark Russian money, but don't let that shape the thing. So there's that, and then also. If you're more into your trad, because I think, Jim, you mentioned earlier, you're more into your trad, a bar called Ufleku. So I'm going to type it in, so because they've got weird names, but this one is an absolute must. It was basically you go there. This is a recommendation from Johnny from the Craft Beer Channel. So on the meeting that we had with him, I said, like, I'm going to Prague. Any recommendations? And he said this one, and he said it was basically a bucket list place to go to, and I completely agree with that, because you go into it, it's an old I don't know if it still is a brewery or whatever. I'm assuming that it is, but it's got 8 dining halls, all completely different traditional vibes, but it's all just your standard big benches. Kind of like being in a craft beer's Wagamama, but you've also got an accordion player and all this sort of stuff playing. And the guys you've got 2 options for beers, dark and light. They're beers that are brewed on site there. And the dude, like when you're ready for one, like I drank my first one really quick, and like I was then trying to catch the barman's eye, and I was like, dude, I want a beer. I don't want to have to get up and fucking walk over and queue at the bar, because obviously there's no queuing at the bar there. And he's like, no, it's fine. Don't worry. And I was like, what do you mean, don't worry? I want a beer. But he walked off. No sooner had he said that, a guy comes around holding this big tray of drinks, and he's just fucking going around going, dark or light, bang. There you go. Dark or light, bang. So I was like, I'm in heaven. And I only intended.
I love places.
I only intended to stay there for 2 drinks and my dinner, and I ended up having 5 drinks, my dinner, and then also a shot. There's another guy that was bringing in some weird like honey shot. Like there was a dark honey and a light honey mead shot. I don't know what the fuck it was, but either way, that place really good. And the food looks like it comes out the 1930s. It's your proper
Ricketts.
Yeah, it's your proper slop, but it's so tasty. Like sauerkraut. I had Moravian pork, and it was basically like pork casserole with some mash and sauerkraut, and then dumplings. But the dumplings were basically just sliced, looking like a fucking slice of bread.
It's great.
Just go there.
Contextually, if you're in a place like that, and you want that kind of the Eastern European fare. It's traditional. It's a thing, and if you ate that for the rest of your life, you're probably going to get scurvy and die.
Yeah.
Or gout or rickets. But you pair that with the beer, and you just sit back, and these old places have just given you just a glimpse into the past about what it would have been like if then it was almost like a socialist kind of mentality. Everyone's sitting around the benches, as you say, and it's all for one. You have two choices, dark or light. Love that as well, by the way.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. I think I sent you a message while I was there because I was on my own, and I was just sort of like, it's like being in. I don't know how many of you guys have been to the Black Country. Obviously, a few of you will have been, but it's like being in the Bathing.
It's kind of that. That's what I think. That's I'll get on board with it.
But in Czech. Yeah. But no, really good. Seabass said, "Did you try and use a Chovek?" I can't remember. Johnny did also give me another place, and it was also right next to where my hotel was. And I went there, and I was kind of like. He also did say, so he gave me, for context, he gave me Ufleku, if that's how you pronounce it, and then this other place, which I'll write in the thing anyway. But it was, he said, two different places, two very different vibes, but both must go to places. But totally different, and not even in a good way. Like the second place, it must have been the time of night that I went there, but I went there and I was like, this is not what I was. Basically, all they sold there at this second place was Pilsner Urquell, which shouldn't be a surprise because I know that they do love Pilsner Urquell. But they couldn't wait. It was bar service, so I walked in. They couldn't wait to just serve me the beer, take my money, and then they didn't give a shit. Like in the terms of like, it was just that very standoffish. Yeah, that's what you want. That's how much you got to pay. There's your beer. Fuck off.
That's just Prague. There, you got to remember, Prague's a very touristy city. I guess a very still. It's trying to conserve what makes Prague, and it's trying not to expand itself. You're not going to find Starbucks and McDonald's in every corner in Prague because it really wants to keep its own identity. I went to Prague about 8-9 years ago, and I remember this vividly. It was the last cigarette I ever had.
Wow! Congrats.
And at that point, I hadn't even smoked for a year because I went into a bar and they were still allowing smoking at the bar. And at that point, smoking in England being outlawed. Outlawed? The fuck? It's not Robin Hood. It'd been illegal for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And I saw this really attractive looking, sort of Soviet Czech couple just kind of niet at the bar with their cigarettes, and they had those kind of metal ashtrays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just looked cool, and they just looked like they enjoyed themselves. And I said to Hannah, "I'm gonna have a cigarette." I went up the bar, asked for a cigarette because they could buy them in singles. Are you googling?
No. I'm just going to send this to Jim. Andrew. Pilsner. Bang. There you go.
Anyway,
that's the other one. That's the one. It was just Pilsner Urquell, and like I say, it was fine, but I wouldn't say go there over the other place.
No. So back to my story.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, so I had a cigarette. And I sat at the bar for the first time in probably 10 years at that point. I lit the last cigarettes I've ever had, and one of the first cigarettes I had for years. I just sat there. He gave me a whiskey, and I just sat there with a cigarette and a whiskey, and I went, "Okay, that's probably this is probably the happiest I'll ever be in my entire life." Put that out.
That's good.
And it was just something. Yeah, it was a thing, and it was wonderful.
I just love that actually. Like, Andrew just said, "Cheers, Jim," because I accidentally called him Jim. So,
anyway, we haven't talked about this.
Yes, what are we drinking? So we're drinking Alpha Delta. It's the export dry stout. Probably one of the last ones.
Creamy as all hell.
Yeah.
Gives you nothing on it here, other than the fact that it's export dry stout. I always struggle with stouts, and you're going to comprehend what's in them.
I think it's good because this is just a balls out, straightforward stout. There's no mess in here.
No, there's no adjuncts, just nothing like that.
Yeah.
Creamy, big, dry, like. It's going to sound like your mum. She's on.
She probably is. I mean, what's it? Big Ev is finishing with a Neon Raptor Crimes Against Brewing, Which one was that? Because
the problem with having your mom is I can't do your mom jokes because she's lovely.
Whatever. I mean, do what you like. Save the Jim saved the location as well, which is all good. I don't. But anyway, yeah, I think we're probably.
Well, I'm starting to hallucinate. So
I didn't realise actually we're speaking a little bit over time.
Right, should we wrap up?
But hey, let us know in the last 5 minutes what are you all drinking?
Got 10 minutes. Go.
Yeah, let's hang around for 10 minutes. Let's make this a 2-hour 45er, because then it could be like you could have watched. I don't know. You could maybe have watched Oppenheimer, but walked out before the last 5 minutes.
Is anyone on board the Shogun train?
Oh no, but I do want to watch that because I watched the.
I watched it last night.
I watched the trailer.
I watched the first one last night.
Fucking sick.
Holy shit!
You could have watched Dune Part 1 in the time that you've taken to watch this.
Yeah, but Dune Part 1's like nothing because Dune Part 2 is the best film that's ever been made ever,
and it's not out yet.
It's not even out yet.
How about the David Lynch version of Dune?
If you don't like Sting in some weird kind of rubber nappy.
How about that big worm that comes out the sand? But yeah. Anyway,
Shogun. Get on that shit.
Shogun. That's on Disney.
Holy shit! There's this Apple. Oh no, maybe
it's on Disney. I think.
Anyway, I pirate everything. So.
Shit. The wife was watching it whilst I was watching this.
I'll be honest with you. This ain't no Shogun.
Just finishing the Cloudwater birthday dipper. Yeah, to be fair, the birthday dipper was.
We didn't really talk about it. We just chatted. It's here somewhere.
I've just got a sea of cans.
So we didn't really talk about it. Yeah. So that was a great beer. That's Nelson as well.
Yeah, I think what we need to really say about Cloudwater, I suppose, in the same way that you probably say about Daya, their names don't have necessarily the same excitement as they did a couple of years ago, or definitely over lockdown when everyone was getting into craft beer, because there's a lot more breweries and a lot more choice out there as well. But you know that you can go to those guys for beer, because that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily go to a Daya can now. I don't necessarily go to a Cloudwater or a Polly's, but I know that when I do, I'm guaranteed a certain quality of beer. So
I think that's really important. It's when I say Cloudwater, the kind of excitement's long gone. But when you were back in the day, it was happening, and the beer scene was happening. Cloudwater was the most exciting brand you could see as a craft beer nerd in this country, really. I mean really early days. I mean, we're talking about the V1 to 10 kind of things.
Yeah.
Cloudwater, because they took what Brewdog was doing. That's how far we're going back, when Brewdog were pushing limits in this country anyway. And they just went, fuck you, and did it more.
Yeah.
It was fucking brilliant. It was brilliant. And I remember vividly buying my first Cloudwater can for about £5 and going, fuck, £5.
Yeah.
Jesus, what's going on? Is this the future?
No, totally. I mean, it's those breweries are. I mean, they're big for a reason now, aren't they? And we can only really hope that they do hang around.
Cloudwater's not even big. That's the thing. They're kind of. They went places, and then other people overtook them. That might be through innovation. That might be through just quality of brewing. Verdant, in particular, completely overtook Cloudwater in their own game. We know that.
I think this is one of the reasons, and this is why I'm quite happy with what Cloudwater are doing at the moment, is the fact that they've brought the DIPA V series back, so they know that the appetite is still there for a big DIPA. Even in a time when people are saying, oh well, we want to be healthy, we want to start drinking more session IPAs. I want something that's like 3.4%. It's like, yeah, fine, but the appetite is still always going to be there for a big 8 to 8.5% banger. and no one really, well, not no one, but very few brew it better than Cloudwater do, especially when Cloudwater are getting their pals involved from other countries, which I think
tastes like Cloudwater as well. Yeah. I think I often think you wouldn't be able to pull Cloudwater out of a blind lineup with other quality brewers. However, when you have a Cloudwater, you go, fuck, quality, it's just good. You just know it's good. And, I respect them for that. They've got a lot of other shit around them. But the other thing about Cloudwater, I was going to say, brewing good beer isn't enough now, and it probably won't be enough going forward. You need the venues, you need the tap rooms, you need whatever collaborations you're going to be doing. And Cloudwater have fucked the tap room right up.
It's not great, is it?
Track just opened one over the road, and it's like 10 times better, like 1,000 times better. And Sure Shots around the corner now, and you'd be really hard pressed to go. I'd definitely go to Cloudwater over these two.
Funnily enough, here Jim has just said, if you do the Manchester run, go to Cloudwater first, then spend 3 hours in Track, and he's explicitly said 3 hours, and then try to end with Sure Shot.
Exactly. There you go. Reading my mind out. Exactly.
Yeah. But no, that's definitely the thing with it. But Chubbles is coming soon, so who knows whether that's going to be. I mean, it should be fine.
I generally don't think Cloudwater's going to go any further than where they are now.
No,
I think they've lost too much traction, and I think the leadership leaves a lot to be desired. But I think the brewers who are doing stuff are fantastic. So
it's all good.
It's all good in that regard, yeah.
Bunderbust, if you can make it as well, is what Jim said. Bunderbust.
Bunderbust is closing in Birmingham, which is awful.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because Birmingham treats all
places with contempt
when it comes to beer. It's fucking awful. It really pisses me off. It's my home city.
It's just not very good, is it? Well, we've talked about this before, but bullshit in a way. Like
it's bullshit.
There's
and now the council's fucked. Here's the thing as well. Just cultural vandalism that is Birmingham Council.
Is this going to be about the electric?
It's about the electric. Yeah. So the oldest working cinema. Honestly, one of the best places I've ever been to in my entire life. Been there many times. Spent huge amount of happy occasions there. It's been closed and it's getting knocked down for flats. Because,
it's not confirmed yet.
It's going to happen.
There's no planning application.
The fact that it's not, it's not been given,
and also I've got to
certification
say, as for a Tory, your boy Andy Street, he's not bad at being on the scene. Like he's saying he's going to get.
It's good. He's good.
And he did.
It's great. It's great for photo opportunities. Yeah.
The Crooked House, when we did the first podcast, obviously that was not long after the Crooked House got burned down.
That's true.
And that's just been ordered to be rebuilt. Now, I absolutely 100% will probably put money on the fact that won't ever get rebuilt because the owners won't do it because they can't afford it. They'll probably just declare bankruptcy. But the very fact that they've decided, that the council have decided to go down this legal route of saying, no, fuck you, you need to rebuild that. That's interesting because that's usually a legal wrangle that they won't want to get involved in. But they are, because the owners will appeal.
Yep. Well, the owners can't appeal because they've made a mistake of putting that into their limited company's name. Not it was they fucked up, and that's why they can say that anyway. So they're going to be bankrupted, which is great. However, I don't really care about the. I really care about the arson. I really don't care about the fact they're going to rebuild it, because what's going to happen there is they're going to move to the Black Country Museum, which is great, but it's completely irrelevant. It's irrelevant. What's happening there is irrelevant. What that is they're showing someone up, and I completely agree with that.
No, what I think is that they should actually not. They should just fucking throw the two people that burnt it down in prison.
They are,
or whatever.
That's happening.
And then Marston's, who sold them the property, should be made to rebuild it.
There we go. And that's what was getting.
That should be what happens.
That's
because
what should happen.
Marston's knew that they were because the landlord of that pub that burnt down the Crooked House, he didn't know that it was for sale.
Let's never forget
they were doing a fucking deal.
Marston's are not a brewery. Well, they are a brewery, but they're a landlord.
They're a brewing company, yeah.
They're a landlord that brews for tax purposes. So fuck them, basically. Yeah.
So they're called Carlsberg Marston's now, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
So there you go.
Don't sue us.
Big Ev, Birmingham in trouble, yet could improve their economy greatly by getting on board with craft beer scene. Absolutely. And Rob said, Bundo is closing already. My mate is one of the owners.
Yeah.
That's just in Birmingham, I think.
It's Birmingham, yeah.
So if it's opening in, what did you say?
Well, these are the
Manchester.
These are the strong rumours that be thrown around the network. If it's not true, apologies, but it seems to be. So.
I feel like we shouldn't end on here, so let's go for like a nice 5-minute
vibe. 100%.
Let's end on a nice 5-minute vibe now. Thank you very much for coming, guys. We really appreciate it. It's nice, and it's nice now that we've got this nice steady number. So we will do another one of these
at some point. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah,
I mean, when's good for you guys? I mean, for us, Friday night works. April. Fuck it, why not?
There's a lot of holidays from our perspective, but there's also a lot of bank holidays coming up. Easter being in particular, so we won't do it on then.
Well, I mean, the good thing is Easter's like end of March, isn't it, this year? So
I don't know when. They just move it.
End of March. They do change it every time because
it's them.
Jesus gets born on a different day each year. But yeah. Or no, he gets executed on a different day each year.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's always born on the same day. He's born on like winter solstice in the pagan calendar. Yeah.
Yeah. But the Christians got that wrong again, haven't they? Anyway, let's talk.
But anyway, yeah.
End on a different note.
Thank you, Seabass.
Yeah,
thank you, Big Ev.
Seabass. Good man. Thanks for coming.
So
I may be down your neck of the woods on Sunday. By the way, if my wife has recovered from the lurgy. Oh shit! Yeah.
We need to just do this as well. Just a little quick one from us. We finally launched.
Well, we haven't really yet, but we'll launch it at some point. Yeah,
launching it here. But yeah, we're doing like a fucking T-mill site now, so you can buy some shirts.
What we need to start doing is flogging some merchandise. We'll do this properly.
Jim's like, merch plug. Wow.
Oh yeah. We're merching, mother. So yeah, we've got some t-shirts and shit on there, and we'll extend that out. And if
I've no idea how the pricing works because obviously I think of the pricing on there, we're probably getting like two quid.
Yeah, they're made to print t-shirts, so we make them fuck all on there basically. But they're good fun. Get some if you want. Yeah,
give it a go. I mean, we're basically just wanting to give because we've got lots of ideas with things, and we just want to get the shirts out there at the moment with the designs to see what designs maybe work, what designs don't, and then as time goes on, we'll solidify and get like we'll do a run of shirts that are printed, which we can then sell. Which will be way cheaper.
The beauty of a thing like Timo is we don't have to buy a load of shit because we haven't got any money anyway. So we can just, paper order basically. So if anything floats your boat, go for it, man. That'd be great.
And just to kind of highlight the ridiculousness of what's happened, Jim just said merch plug. Wow. Big Ev just laughed, and Rob said merch plug. Next, you'll be selling shavers. I mean, when T-Mill do shavers, we're not there actually.
I mean, I don't think we're the models for shavers.
No. I don't know. We could maybe get there.
They started doing postcards and Christmas cards, all that kind of stuff.
We just want to get people shirts. Just shirts work.
We've had to buy Johnny Macro a load of
hair loss.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to buy. Yeah, we got to buy John Rack or something.
We have to buy John, but we don't know what size he is now. He's probably like gone down 5 stone, hasn't he? Since he's been rogering like
all the shagging.
All the shagging he was doing with the Janet Macro.
John Macro. Anyway, guys, so we'll see you on the next one. If you'd like I don't know. We've left it too late to talk about this, I guess. But if you want like a drink along, but in fact, let's just do a quick 5-minute poll. Drink along box or no? Shall we just ride solo? There you go. Yes or no? That's done a thing. There you go. Just the 8 of you, the 8 of you that are still here. Just give that a blast. You don't have to say yes to it, obviously, because it's limiting. You don't have to do it, but yeah. But either way, we'll absolutely do another one of these next month. And don't forget the whole albums and beer matchup, because that could be really interesting.
That could be fun. I don't know how we do that because we're going to copyright to fuck.
No, we're not going to play anything. We just need to talk about like certain well-known albums, well-known music.
We could do what Tim from the Inspiral Carpets does. He does the listen alongs, doesn't he?
Maybe.
And he basically you have to sync it up with him, and then he talks through it. It's great.
But like, what would a smoothie sour be if it was an artist? Taylor Swift.
What's the shittest thing you've ever heard in your entire life?
Taylor Swift.
Nah, she's nowhere. Creed.
I mean, Creed's bad, but I wouldn't put that as like. I wouldn't put smoothie sours as that. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Rob, Jim, Big Ev, Seabass, Andrew.
Yeah, bless you.
Thank you, dudes.
Thanks, guys.
Really appreciate you coming along.
100%. Love it.
Obviously, there's more of you as well. You may not have just messaged. It looks like the thing maybe for a drink along box. We'll talk about it.
We have pathways. Yeah.
So it's good.
Cool.
Lovely, guys. Nice one. Thank you very much for coming. Have a good rest of the weekend, and we'll see you very soon.